Welcome to episode number 278 of the Keep Up Podcast.
Where if you open up your lunchbox, you're just going to see our feet.
Oh. What a bummer.
What do you mean, what a bummer?
Our triumphant return from a week off.
Dude, feet, I don't understand why people don't like feet. I don't love feet, but I don't hate them.
Nowadays, it feels like it's one way or the other.
Like you have to love feet,
you hate them, or you're
feet.
Like oddly into them. I feel like that's what's up.
I just don't get, like, I don't know. They're just like weird, thick hands.
Yeah, I think that makes it worse.
Weird, veiny, thick hands. They're like, what if your hand... What if your hand kept growing, but not your fingers? Your fingers shrink, and your hand itself grows more.
Yeah, like your palm and your...
Yeah. It's like...
Tim's giving insight into what his feet look like.
Dude, my feet, I'm nervous.
They're just weird, veiny hands.
I'm nervous for the day where my feet look like old people feet.
You're nervous about that?
Well, everybody gets like gross feet when they're older. Every old person feet I've seen, which isn't
which
a
is
lot.
How many? I feel like we should clarify.
Like at beaches, you'll see old people feet, and
I think this
family members.
This might be my least favorite conversation we've ever had.
So you're not a feet guy?
No, ma'am.
No.
I mean, I'm not like grossed out if they're.
Yeah, people like vomit at feet.
I do. I do feel like there's a thing happening now where, like, because when I was, I remember when, like, wearing flip-flops regularly, like, not just at the beach, at least in our area, became, like, a thing.
Yeah.
Like, there was a time where it wasn't, and then a bunch of my friends were wearing flip-flops all the time.
So there was a time where flip-flops weren't good to wear. Oh, only, like, not at the beach? Like, just, like...
Right. Like, it definitely wasn't, like, a cool thing when I was in high school. But then all of a sudden, it was, like, everybody was wearing, like, flip-flops and stuff.
Yeah.
And now, I feel like people are starting to get grossed out by that because the trend became to wear socks with, like, slides.
Yeah.
And so now when people wear regular flip-flops or slides without socks, I'm seeing people in generations after mine be like, oh, put the dogs away. And they're like grossed out by it.
Get rid of those grippers.
So I'm not like that, but I don't love the word. That is literally...
Feet?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know.
Feet's funny.
I don't know.
It's just eat with an F in front of it.
The F really throws me off.
Feet.
Ugh, I've never thought about how it's mostly just the word eat.
Yeah.
But for some reason...
So we just discovered you're meant to eat feet.
I hate that.
Because it's got eat in the name. Just an F in front of it.
I don't think that correlation
works. Well, I
works
usually
at
call
all.
feet like tootsies.
I don't like that either.
I mean, it's mostly describing the toes, but like, I'm like, get your tootsies out of here. I don't know how often I'm talking to feet, but...
Dude, I'm learning a lot about you and your just like daily foot-related activities.
I don't know. My feet, they're fine right now. They're
fine right now?
I
What's
feel
that
like
mean?
they're slowly transforming into old feet.
Oh, really?
They still look good.
I mean,
They're just
technically,
hairy. I
every
have,
part
like,
of
Hobbit feet.
every part of you is slowly turning into an old version of that part of you.
Do you look at your body and look at like you're like, oh, this looks old now?
Yeah.
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 What's the oldest part of you?
Oh, it's actually like I have to say the word again.
Go ahead.
Crow's feet.
Oh, crow's feet.
Yeah, like the lines around my eyes when I smile. I have a lot of them.
Oh, I don't really notice.
No?
No.
Yeah, it's stuff that like I hope not everyone is like, ugh.
Oh, look at those crow's feet.
And I have like 3 very defined white hairs in my beard. There's one on the left side, and there's 2 little baby ones over here.
I don't know if you can see it. I have one.
I see it!
Big white.
It's very prominent.
It's the only thing. Like, there's nothing else in here.
That's so funny.
I keep trying to get rid of it, and it comes back in like a day.
Have you seen Jack Black's beard lately?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's great.
I want like a big, cool gray patch, but I don't even have a big, cool gray beard, as we've previously discussed. So
you can.
I don't know.
Dude, just keep growing it.
I'm hoping...
Looking through your history of you, like doing that little video I made.
Yeah.
Your hairstyles and facial hairstyles were all over the place.
Yeah.
And, you can pull it off.
There was... You know what's funny? And I don't know if this is possible. I didn't look into it at all. Oh, I'm sure it's possible, but I don't know if it's like common. When some of those videos were from the year that we both lost a ton of weight.
Yes.
And my beard looked thicker.
When you lost weight.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like now I'm heavier and I feel like my beard is thinner. I don't know if it's just like...
Well, they say like when you eat healthier, generally everything in your body's healthier. So maybe just your general hair growth and thickness.
Or maybe I have too many layers for the hair to make it through now.
It's like there's just too much thickness. Get us out of here.
Yeah, if you guys don't follow us on Instagram or TikTok, then you may have missed the ridiculous compilation video that Tim made of me, which it was... I cannot believe how we lit our original YouTube videos.
Oh my God.
We had, it was basically like, it looked like we were in a dark room with no lights except one glaring light directly behind me. It was so dark in here.
Yeah, well, there's no natural light.
So I know, but did we have none of the, like...
I think we
had no lights on.
We thought these lights. Well, I don't know why we didn't have that.
That's
one
what
on.
I mean. It felt
it
like
doesn't look like that one was on.
We literally did the reverse of like what you want to do, which is we had no light in front of us and one huge light behind us. Unless it was like I don't know what stylistic choices we thought we were making, but it was really weird.
Well, that's the other thing. We were using just like a camera that we had no experience with at all.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Canon T.
It was the 5.
T5? TIO5?
There's an I and a T.
Yeah, TI5 maybe?
That sounds right.
Anyways, but we didn't know about
Still have it.
aperture, ISO. We didn't know about any of that stuff.
No, and it looks so bad. So the first video is so funny. And just seeing the way I've like... looked different over the years.
Transformed over the years.
It's very funny.
I do love to see our transition from being as heavy as probably we've ever been in our lives to being as good as we've ever looked.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, it's true. That it was a fun video, and I didn't, not knowing you were putting it together was really funny because I was just like, oh no, what is this that he's just sharing across all platforms?
I posted it everywhere. I'm like, here.
He's like, happy birthday.
There
It was a birthday video.
Yeah.
So that is on our socials if you want to go check that out. I'll throw this out there. If you're not following us, you can find us on all socials at the Keep Up Podcast. Shout out to our patrons. Because of you, we're able to make a pretty cool video later today that we will share with you. And was there something else? Shouts to new subscribers on YouTube. We had a few new subs come in this week, and I'm really excited because I know we have some cool stuff planned for the YouTube channel. So happy to have you here. We also have some requests for stuff we need to watch.
Okay.
And
that's all we ever want to do here is watch what people tell us to watch.
That's it.
And consume.
That's it.
You might have to also introduce the show.
Yeah, I guess. Welcome to the Keep Up Podcast, where I'm Brett and Tim is Tim.
That's me.
And we talk about all the things we consume, be it media or food. And we took a week off, I think.
Yeah.
Was it a week?
It was, you know what it was? It was like a week off, and then we came back, and then we took like another week off.
We did?
Because why did we take a week off before?
I don't think we did.
Was it? Or maybe it was a couple of weeks. Well, we took a week off because of your surgery, right? Because you didn't come here. But how long ago was
has
that?
it been 2 weeks?
I don't know. How long has it been since your surgery? Because I felt like...
that was a long time ago.
That was like February, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we're in the first week of March, so...
We didn't take a month off.
No. But I'm saying like we took a week off, and then we had like 1 or 2 weeks. We came back, and then a week off again.
I thought you were saying like we haven't done anything for the past 2 weeks, but I don't think that's true, right?
No. I think it was just like a week off. Did like 2 weeks of things and then a week off, and that's why it kind of feels like all over the place.
I see, yeah. I feel like I'm trying to figure out how to podcast again.
Yeah,
a week
it's like
off.
we're getting back into it. Yeah,
but I feel good. I feel like we're fine.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the week off, or you want to just forge ahead?
I mean, there's honestly not much to say. I mean, I don't know how much we talked about it on socials, but you posted something to Patreon.
On the Patreon, yeah, and I think I might have made that available to everybody. I forget,
but I don't know if we actually said anything on our actual. Instagram.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I didn't know what you wanted to talk about, so I didn't really.
So it's okay. It's okay.
Right.
I've been all discombobulated.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, one of our interns, good old Brody, Bobo. Sometimes he'll bust in the door and stuff.
Yeah.
He moved on. He passed away. Just some, as dogs get older, they get kind of all these wacky stuff going on the inside. So he just hit the point where the stuff inside was not fixable.
No.
So I'm feeling better about it though.
Yeah.
I think when Oscar passed away, that was my first time in my adult life dealing with the death of an animal. Because like when I was a kid, it was the dogs we had to put down. I was still kind of like not emotionally mature enough.
Yeah.
So it was sad.
Yeah.
But I didn't like.
You weren't as attached, maybe.
Yeah. It just didn't hit as hard as it.
Also, I think as you develop like your own schedule and like regularity of events, and those animals are part of that. Like they're there all the time. When you're a kid, you're just like bouncing off of walls and stuff.
Right.
And
There's no
whatever.
like set schedule. You just go to school and then do whatever when you come back. And
which is not to say you don't grow those attachments, but I guess I'm trying to remember like how old you would have been when the last time one of the pets passed away.
Yeah, it was Shelby.
Okay.
And that was, I was like a teenager then, but there was still so much going on, and just for me but I was still like upset about Shelby passing away.
She was around for a while.
Sad, yeah. She was old. She was like 15. 16.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she lived for a long time.
Yeah, and I know what makes this one hard is it was extremely sudden.
Yes.
Like he was okay one day, then woke up not feeling well, brought him to the vet, and it just got worse and worse.
Yeah, and that was it, and it was kind of back and forth all day because they're like, they did ultrasounds, and they were like, well, he's got a couple things, but maybe we can go in and do surgery. Then they did surgery, and they're like, well, we can't really fix much in this surgery. So, yeah, it just kind of all came real quick in a single day, especially because he was, out of the 3 dogs we have, seems the most healthiest, most energetic. You know, he just like, we had no preparation to expect him to pass away. So.
And to this day, I don't know what's worse. I don't know if like a sudden, like a long drawn out, this dog, or I guess it could be even, I've talked about this with people too. Like, is it better for something sudden, or it all sucks?
Is it better to know about it and wait for the inevitable day?
Right.
Or, because it's torture in that regard. Because
it is. I guess the benefit being like, there's no like, I wish I got to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, every situation's so different, but I know just like the sudden shock of it, because it always sucks. There's no way to prepare for it. Everybody feels and like deals with that differently. And it was just, and the thing with, in relation to the Keep Up is it's really hard to bring the kind of energy we like to bring to the type of show that we make when you're like grieving.
Yes, it is. It's tough when you make content and try to be fun and happy. Like, we get emotionally, what's the word? Wrecked when things happen. So it can definitely be tough to keep up a happy persona. So it was better to take the week off, and I was pretty much good by like Friday. You suggested that we all hang out as a family, and that helped a lot.
Oh, cool! I'm glad that helped. Yeah, sweet.
Yeah,
yeah.
You did good, Brett. You did good.
I try. I wasn't sure because I wasn't sure what I was going to do that day.
Yeah,
and then as plans developed, I was like, maybe they'd all want to hang out, but I wasn't sure if you guys would be like, nah, we're trying to just like not do anything. But it seemed like everyone had a good time.
Yeah, I had a great time.
We had a great time.
And I'm doing better now. And Brody, we got him back. We had him cremated, so he is now back in the house in a jar. There's not a great way to put that, I guess.
Here's the comedic turn. What's really funny about that actually is how confused. I don't know if you were in the kitchen.
Oh, I was when Mom said.
Jazz was so confused. So my son.
I'm gonna drink water at this moment.
I told my kids when I found out. Tim had texted me. And I told the kids, because they're very, Brody's been around for 10 years. It was a very sad thing for them. It hits different when you live with them, but we see him every time we come over here. And so I told my kids, they knew, but this was the first time we'd come over since he was gone. So all my son knows is that Brody died. He doesn't know anything really about like getting dogs cremated or anything like that. And we're sitting at the kitchen table, and I was like, I forget how I brought it up, but I was just like, how's everyone doing? And my mom's like, oh, Brody, yeah, he's in the living room. And then we talk for a couple minutes, and my son's at the table, and Jazz, after there's a pause in the conversation, and Jazz goes, Brody's in the living room? And at first I was thinking about how confusing that was for him, because he was thinking like, I thought he was gone.
Yeah.
And later, I forget who it was, but someone was like, he was probably terrified to see like a corpse.
Yeah. I said something about taxidermy. I was like, we didn't taxidermy him or anything.
Yeah, he had no grid for like, what do you mean? And she's talking about how the mail guy just delivered him. And the poor kid's probably like, what are they talking about?
They just brought him in a big box.
What happens when a dog dies? I don't understand this process at all. Dude, it was so funny afterwards. Because when he was just sitting there quietly the whole time, and then he finally spoke up, and he's like, "Wait, what's in the living room? I don't understand." So yeah, it is. It's very nice. The jar is nice.
Yep.
And it was cracking me up when Mom was comparing the ashes of previous dogs passed that were sent to her, basically in like a tin that looks like you could buy it at Marshall's.
You could walk in and be like, I'll take 3 of these.
And just dump the ashes in here. And I decided when I die, I want to be cremated, and I want my ashes to be rainbow colored so you can do like sand art with it. I'm going to get one of those, you said the little plastic teddy bear.
The little honey bears.
Yeah, that's perfect. Just a honey bear, and you can put me in your cabinet with all your spices.
And you'll be... But what if someone like starts cooking with you?
It just crossed my mind when I said it. You have someone over like, no, I'm cooking tonight. Just tell me where the spice cabinet is. I got
I'm good.
it.
Oh, look at this rainbow.
This isn't labeled. This looks fancy.
What flavor is Brett? I've never heard of that spice before.
This one just has a date on it. That's strange.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, man. It feels not that long ago that we lost Oscar. So I'm sorry you're dealing with this so soon after.
Yes.
Very much sucks. But I'm glad that you have a nice commemorative spot for him in the living room.
In the living room.
Long live Brody.
Long live the Bobo.
And I guess now we'll go into
the bulletin board?
Wait. When someone says long live.
Yeah.
Are they literally talking about, are they talking about the memory, or are they literally declaring
long live?
Long live.
Like the idea. Like, you know, if you say long live the house.
Can you not say long live someone after they die?
It can be for like a concept or like a family. Like long live the queen, and you know, she's gone.
But is she though? Do they say it after she's gone? I guess that's my question.
I don't know, I guess.
I don't know either. Rest in peace, Brody.
Okay. He'll appreciate that.
Yeah. I guess I don't know what a dog's preference is. Let's go into the bulletin board.
Bulletin board!
What's on the bulletin board? If you're unfamiliar, the bulletin board is where Tim tells us about some stuff that's going on. It's like a news section segment.
Yeah, a news section segment.
Current events.
Lands.
Yeah, dude. You know what I mean?
Well, I have 2. Count them 2.
Tell me.
Bulletin boards. There was honestly so much that happened in the week we were gone. It's crazy. And there's things today, but I'll keep it to these 2 things right now. Now, I don't have specific dates, but that's okay. I'm not here to give you good information. I'm just here to give you the information.
Yes.
Did you hear anything about the AI Wonka disaster?
No, I have no idea what that means.
Okay, so in the UK...
You know what I do know about this?
What?
Which is, this still classifies, I think, as nothing.
Yeah.
Is that someone is developing a horror movie based on whatever you're about to tell me.
Yes, there is, and I'll get to that.
I don't know how that's possible because I don't know what's happening.
Oh, you'll see. And I recommend, look up the story and everything because it's crazy. But essentially what happened is at some point, someone created a website for this Willy Wonka experience. And what they were doing is they were charging people, I think it was like $45.
Okay.
$45 per person.
It's a lot.
For this Willy Wonka style experience.
Do you know how long it is? Or like if it's like the movie? That's kind of cool.
Well,
like if it's
that's
a full
the
experience.
thing. The website wasn't very clear on anything.
Neat.
And, and all the art was AI art. So when people went to go buy the tickets, they're like, oh, is it going to kind of look like this? And they had like, and when you look at the art, you can tell it's like not great.
Interesting.
But it's a bunch of parents just like, oh, I can take my kids to this like cool event.
Sure.
And we can, have a fun Willy Wonka experience. Yeah. So that's what it was. It was so kids could have fun and do a Willy Wonka thing. Yeah. And I think it was kind of to tie in with the new Wonka movie, even though it's way later because it just happened like a couple weeks ago at this point.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening is parents arrived at this experience that they're buying their tickets. Again, $45, give or take, per person.
Right.
If you got a family, you're spending like $200. It's like almost like Disneyland.
Yeah.
You're buying really okay, less than that.
But it is like you're doing a whole thing, you're spending a lot of money, getting everybody together, you're traveling to this thing.
Yes. And so they go, and what it was this dingy, weird, like, warehouse.
Shut up.
And they would walk in, and Dude, when I tell you the lowest amount of effort for all of this, like there's this like paper mache rainbow bridge you go over that leads you to like 7 different stations of like crayon drawn events, if you will, that
Get
like
outta here.
don't even mimic the movie. They
What?
don't even like do things that are Willy Wonka like. Kids were getting like 2 jelly beans for their candy. Like that's what they were getting in their Willy Wonka experience. And it was a disaster. There were, I think, over 100 families there to go do this event.
Oh my gosh, dude.
It said it took them about 15 to 20 minutes to get through everything and then leave. And then they kicked them out. They're like, that's it.
Who's responsible? How did they get away with this?
I need to look more into the details specifically, but essentially it was this well-known scammer, I guess, who is going around and doing a bunch of like he created this video on TikTok where he was trying to get people to like buy this product, and he kept pushing this product again and again, and it ended up not being like anything. Like people,
is it V-Shred?
V-Shred? I don't know if that's what he was doing, but
that's maybe funny for a select group.
What's V-Shred?
You don't know V-Shred?
No,
dude, he's before like every single YouTube video. At least he was for a long time. He's a weight loss guy, but
V-Shred, but it wasn't real.
I don't know. A lot of people say it's a scam. That's maybe funny.
It's funny to me.
For some people.
Is it like the ShamWow guy?
No, that was real.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was in Scotland, not in UK.
It was in Scotland, okay.
Yep. A sparsely decorated warehouse with nightmarish knockoff characters. So, what you were referring to is there was one moment where the kids have to like walk through this like this tiny hallway that has just like 2 wallpaper walls of like candy bars or whatever, and there's a mirror at the end of the hallway.
Okay.
And the kids walk up and look in the mirror, and then there's this like, which if I was a kid, I would have nightmares of this creature with like long black hair, a silver, kind of looks like Dr. Doom a little bit.
Okay.
With like a silver mask and like a black shroud. And it would come out from behind the mirror and like supposed to scare the kids.
Why? What does that have to do with
Willy Wonka? Who knows?
I mean, I've never read the book. Is it in the book?
Maybe.
There's just this
I've never
weird
read the book either.
Candy demon.
Yeah, that's
pops so
out.
Weird.
So yeah, the whole event was a disaster.
Okay.
A lot of the people.
It's the Fire Fest of candy.
It really is because
like,
there were like Oompa Loompas there.
Parks.
There was like I think there was like 10 people total who were running the whole thing. Wow. But they were just paid actors. Okay. So there's the ringleader, the Wonka, and he was he hired these people to like do this event. And the people in the event were like, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm just going to do it because I'm being paid. They ultimately didn't get paid. The event supposedly made $30,000.
What?
Yeah.
So no refunds or anything like that? Like, is anything happening to this guy?
The last update I heard is on Facebook. He said, I'm going to start giving out refunds to people. And he like shared a screenshot, but it's not even like a tenth of what he earned from the whole event. So I don't know if he's going to get in trouble, if he's going to do the refunds. But yeah, that creature that comes out, it's called the Unknown. And what you saw is now they're going to make a movie based on that creature from which I don't even know how or why. And how do you announce it that quick? How do you like this event?
That's the thing.
Was like less than a week ago.
I don't know. That's the thing that this is what makes me feel like it's got to be easier to get certain things made than I am under the impression because it's like
I guess you could just announce anything, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But.
Yeah, there's that too. But it just feels like if it's that easy to get a movie made.
And so I'm showing Brett right now the images. So the one on the left is the AI picture that people thought they were gonna like see, and the one on the right is the actual event place.
Wow, this is weird.
Yeah, they went to like a party store and bought a bunch of different props and stuff, like giant lollipops, and there was like a tiny bit of effort, but not like when you expect to see a Willy Wonka style world and you're in a warehouse.
Yeah, that's weird.
Where you can't eat anything.
You couldn't eat anything?
Nothing. No, they gave you 2 jelly beans.
That's insanity.
They had to ration off the candies because they didn't have enough to give to everybody.
Police were called to an immersive Willy Wonka experience after family showed up to an empty warehouse. Oh, that is brutal. But shut up. Is this real?
That is... Yeah, I think that's the Unknown thing.
Oh, I want to see it.
Do it. Click it.
You guys got to look this up. I guess I could put...
Is that... Yeah, that's so Brett's watching the Unknown creature come out from behind the like mirror. And there's a bunch of videos and people posting stuff all over the place. But yeah, it would just scare kids. It would just terrify him.
This is we've definitely been to better haunted houses.
Yes. Oh, that's a great comparison. That's the sad Oompa Loompa. She was giving out the jelly beans.
Okay, I did see memes of her.
Yeah.
And who's this? What does she have to do with it?
I don't know. She just looks like an actress.
That's Taylor Swift.
Oh, I couldn't tell from far away.
It's
my
a different
eyes
article.
are getting old.
Tim's like, looks like some random actress.
It's like she's not part of my story.
That's very funny. So yeah, we've been to multiple haunts that are
Yes.
set up in a warehouse. There's one in particular I'm thinking of that we've gone to that has like the multiple different houses.
Yep.
And they're definitely better than what that looks like.
Oh yeah, for that experience. and
That's
everything.
insane.
Yeah, so if you see anything about it, it is a disaster. And
Yeah.
there's YouTube videos. I bet you there's going to be a documentary in like 5 weeks.
Oh, that reminds me. I think I showed it to you the other day. I guess it's been out longer than I thought. But two things that came up recently about Ozempic.
Yeah.
There's a documentary on Hulu. And there's also there's a lawyer commercial. You know how there's commercials and there's lawyers that are like specifically like
did you suffer from psoriasis when you were 7?
yeah, exactly. Like, did you trip on a bridge in this small town in Wisconsin? Call me. I specifically deal with that. We're suing the guy who built the bridge. Like, so there's a commercial like that for Ozempic, and I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I guess you said it's been around longer than I thought, but
2017 Ozempic.
doesn't it usually take longer for things to start like backfiring before there's a documentary series, a multi-episode series on Hulu?
Yeah.
And it's called After Ozempic. And I'm like, bro, when did they start filming it? Did they announce it and just immediately be
just
like,
like,
this is
this
going to
is
go
it.
bad. We're going to start filming some people.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not long enough for if there are side effects. I mean, side effects could happen, I guess, within months. But like, how do you notice such a huge array of side effects to make a documentary based on it?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And that fast.
Yeah.
It just seems like,
We got to watch the documentary, I guess.
yeah,
See
I guess I'm curious about it. Dude, I've been messing with the audio this entire time.
Great.
I don't know why. It looks like a lot of.
I am loud? No.
No, you're good. I just keep.
Dude, why you so turn yourself down?
I don't know. I'm very excited. I just did a little bit. But
it's an exciting day.
this is the segment that I bring up on every show where I talk about the audio for a
Right.
second.
You gotta. It's important. People got to know that when the sounds change, that no one will notice.
No.
You got to at least bring it up.
Specifically on the audio only version, I really want people to know that I'm just like playing around.
Right, because the video you can see you.
The video you can see it, and you might be like, "What's he doing?" The audio, you're not even thinking about it. No. I just want to make sure I bring it up from time to time.
Yeah, that's important. You know what else is important?
Tell me what.
Game Scent.
Yeah, is that real?
It is real. So
it's so unnecessary, dude. I don't need that.
And you know what's funny is so much tech just has AI thrown into it now because this is supposedly it's AI that can read the game you're playing. Okay. And what it'll do, it's a box you put in front of you while you're playing a game.
Okay.
And you load it up with different scents, which I'll read through the list of scents in a minute. But depending on what happens in the game, it'll release the scent in your face so you can smell whatever's going on.
Is it like oils? Like, is it like a diffuser kind of thing?
Specifically, let's see. Scent cartridges specifically designed for game scent device.
Scent cartridges.
Yeah, so just look, it's like a little like bottle with scent.
Weird.
In
it's
it.
called gunfire.
So that's one of the smells.
Oh, that's one of the smells.
The smoky echoes of gunshots immense you in the adrenaline pumping world of virtual combat.
Resident Evil would smell so smoky. My room would, like, the fire department would show up.
Yeah, like does it release in every gunshot or does it do it on a timer? Like, again, I think it says it uses AI to like determine it.
Yeah.
Determine when.
It would be funny if it's like poorly timed and you shot 10 minutes ago and now you're in like a greenhouse and you just start smelling
it's
like
all
burning.
I can't wait for the flower set. Why?
It smells like sparks and rotting flesh. Why?
So they have gunfire, which specifically, so they have a game and a movie scent, so it can do it for movies
game
too.
And movie scent, interesting.
I gotta say, I do kind of like the concept.
I guess it's cool.
It's an immersive way to like really get into whatever you're doing. But when I read you the price, you might not like it as much. There's explosion.
Okay.
Also, why do you want to smell like gunfire and explosions? They're probably not great.
I don't know. Well, think of those moments like in a game and a movie.
Yeah.
It's very like action packed and could be really immersive to smell I feel like those are both the same scent, though.
Right.
Explosion is just like gunfire plus. Like,
Fire.
it's just bigger. Just sparks and...
There is...
What would Oppenheimer smell like?
Oh, my God. Greatness. Forest.
Forest?
Forest.
Okay, that's cool.
It's just, the scent
How
of
does it know?
ancient pine and earth.
Okay.
Clean air. Manually neutralize all odors and leave behind a soft, subtle scent to leave your area feeling refreshed.
Weird.
How's that a scent? A scent
Wait,
of
that's
nothing.
one of the scents? I thought it was describing how it works.
No. That's clean air.
Oh.
It's just a scent.
Clean air. That just sounds like a product I want to just make my air smell clean.
They're getting some gross ones. Okay, anyways. Storm. Thunderstorm. That could be fun. Racing cars.
Okay.
And now the rest are not out yet. They're
What are the
working on
gross
it.
ones you're skipping over?
No, I'm going to it now.
Okay, all right. You made me
blood. Prepare for intense, brutal battles of combat. Immerse yourself in the blood and metallic essence, adding raw intensity of virtual horror. There's your Resident Evil.
Dude, I'm telling you, between the gun smoke and blood, Resident Evil's going to smell terrible.
It's going to be so
But
gross.
it does sound immersive. There is a scent I've always imagined Raccoon City having.
Yeah.
And it's those two
Rotting
things.
flesh
Yeah.
and ocean,
Ocean's cool.
sports arena,
Ooh.
and fresh cut grass. So far is what they have.
For lawnmower simulator.
Yeah, specifically for that. So the device is on Amazon. You can actually buy it now.
You can.
It's available.
Wow.
$150.
Okay. Does it come with any of the scents?
Yeah, actually 6 cents included.
Okay. If it works well, I feel like that's not that bad.
I thought it was a lot more. I guess it depends on how much the cartridges are after the fact.
Yes. And how long one...
Will last you.
It's like one gunshot.
You're just like,
And that's it. Cartridge is empty.
The reviews are all over the place for it, but
That sounds right for something like this.
yeah, I just don't know how it tells when to release stuff. It says it uses AI, but is it
That's so vague, dude.
camera? Or...
Everything says AI. It's like Wendy's is using AI to make their cheeseburgers more expensive. Like, what is happening?
Oh my God, I forgot about that too.
Dude, yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Automated release events associated with events occurring in the game or movie within 1 to 2 seconds, compatible with every game and movie ever released. Absolutely no way.
That's an insane claim.
That is insane.
That's so wild.
It's crazy. We can get it overnight, 4 a.m. to 8 a.m.
You gonna try it?
If we, not for $150.
Yeah. Like, it's not bad, but I'm not rushing out to buy that.
Yeah. I don't know, but that is just some, that probably should have been in technology, but it's just some neat.
It's all right. It's cool.
It's just some weird evolution of gaming that
Yeah.
now we're getting to the point where we're getting scents. We're
Yeah.
getting the game to smell
Well, yeah, I mean,
in movies.
Yes, I saw a movie yesterday in XD.
Okay.
And is that just a local, like, is that just Cinemark or?
Cinemark has the XD theaters.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm sure there are other versions of it, but it's essentially just IMAX, and then the sound is insane, and your seat like vibrates with action in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's pretty immersive.
it can be pretty good.
Because it's not like a roller coaster or anything. It's just like, if it's a big, like, any of the crazy, like, rumbling, explosions, even just the soundtrack swelling sometimes, like a really big, like, woo, like, you don't even notice it after a while, but you're just kind of like, oh, I'm so in this right now.
I'm in the moment.
So that kind of thing is pretty cool. I mean, I guess it's just another level of immersion. And I mean, that mixed with something like VR would be
crazy.
Yeah. Like, I mean, what's missing from that? Just touch at that point, I guess.
Yeah, which they actually do have you can put on a bulletproof vest that vibrates.
Wow.
That connects to the game, so when you get shot, it'll vibrate. And there are other things that other pieces of technology that can really immerse you into it.
Wow, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah,
yeah, I'd be interested. I would be interested to try it. I don't know if it would be worth, like, how much do I care about that level of immersion? Like, am I going to be reloading Gunsmoke cartridges every time I play a game? Like, I don't know, but it might be the kind of thing where, because it's... Okay, here's a scenario where it would be cool.
I'm ready.
Because it's compatible with everything, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Let's say a new game's coming out that you're super stoked on. You're going to make sure your controller's fully charged. You know what I mean? Like, you have nothing to do.
Right.
And you're going to load up all of your game scent cartridges to make sure you're like fully immersed when you first play this game. That could be kind of cool.
I guess it's mostly a novelty though, because
it
totally. Really depends on how good the scents are.
Yeah,
you know, really if they are weak or they are just not good. Like if gunfire smells terrible, then your room's gonna smell like it. Like I'm nervous when they get fart.
Yeah.
If you're playing like Oddworld or something.
Oddworld, you're playing Boogerman on the Genesis, and you're like, this is the worst. Why did I load these cartridges?
Oh my God.
I paid $150 for this.
It smells awful.
It's so crazy. Dude, what a great bulletin board segment.
I try to bring some fun things.
You bring some fun things, Tim.
You know? That's just what I do.
You know what else smells great?
New metal.
I mean, yeah, we're talking about new metal?
No, but, well, in movies.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Let's go to movies.
Let's go to the movies.
What are you talking about?
We may have talked about this on the podcast.
Don't say
before.
I and you and
I
we
and you together
without ever starting a single sentence.
My friend, Lord Bale.
Yep.
Told me, I don't know why I stuttered so hard.
Either. Today, Junior?
He showed me the light on new metal movies. And this is a genre of movies.
I'm a little upset about you giving this credit to someone other than me, but
You've talked about it before.
I will allow you to continue.
Have you talked about it before?
I think
it's Underworld, it's I, Frankenstein. It's like a whole genre.
I think I have referred to it as like early 2000s new metal / goth movies.
Yeah, but it is an actual genre in itself. Like if you look up new metal
that's
movies,
funny.
It is literally, I looked at it and I was like, this is Brett. It's The Crow. It's Underworld. It's Blade. It's literally everything. You got to look it up because it blew me away.
I'll do it right now, dude.
It was so funny.
What's really funny is it has to be largely related to the soundtracks. I mean, I know it's just environmental and stuff.
It's part of it for sure. But because he was telling me about it. I was like, well, I know what new metal is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there isn't actually like new metal like movie, like I don't understand what it is, but he sent me articles and it was just a full list of like
that's awesome
new metal movies and Spawn, Friday the 13th, Resident Evil. Like, come on. It's every movie you like.
This is probably specifically Freddy vs. Jason, which actually to this day I haven't seen.
Really?
Yeah, I've never seen it. I've seen parts.
Sometimes we miss good things.
This is I'm specifically looking at a list on wearethepit.com.
We Are the Pit.
And this is the 10 most new metal movies of all time. So just to give people an idea, it's all like late 90s, early 2000s. Mm-hmm. Well, The Crow was would we figure that was 94 that came out? Yeah. There are definitely many that fall into like...
Well, even more modern stuff like I, Frankenstein and things like that fall into it.
That was probably, what, 2011?
14.
Was it really?
I don't know. That's my guess.
It's actually more recent than I thought. So, okay, yeah, maybe I've always had that era in my mind.
Mm-hmm. But it's like a gothic...
Those were just like my formative years, I guess. But yeah, let's see if they have anything more recent on here. So they have
2014, I, Frankenstein.
Wow, yeah, you're right.
I don't know why I remember that.
Spawn, Triple X.
Triple X is so funny.
It's just that's Mountain Dew new metal. Mountain Dew metal.
Mountain Dew metal.
Freddy vs. Jason, which notoriously had one of the coolest metal soundtracks, and Queen of the Damned, which I've still never seen. Which is
it's iconic.
Judgment Night, I've never seen, but I've heard the soundtrack.
Judgment Night, haven't heard of that, I don't think.
Stigmata, interesting.
Oh, that looks cool.
I did see that.
It's got bloody eyes.
Oh, Linkin Park and Cold Chamber are on the soundtrack, so that's
So this is specifically going with the angle of the music being new metal.
I think so. I mean, yeah, I think it is. We Are the Pit's also a music website, so that's their angle here. Mm-hmm. Resident Evil. Oh, Dracula 2000. I remember that movie. Ghosts of Mars. I don't know what that is.
No, that sounds cool too.
It's from John Carpenter.
Oh.
Ow.
What happened?
I just got a mustache hair stuck in my mic. That was
Again?
crazy. I don't know what Strangeland is.
Yo.
I might have to watch everything on this list.
I was going to say, we're learning about new movies.
That's great. So that's funny. So how do you, when you're looking at the list, is it like...
Oh, it's all stuff that I'm like, these movies are awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the genre. Because we always talk about, we don't really know how to place like Underworld and these type of movies that we talk about. Because we can say it's like, late 2000 or early 2000s, like gothic and horror and stuff like that and vampire movies. But there's so many that are so similar, but so different with what happens in the movie. It's hard to place them all in the same.
It's true. It very much is a mood and environment. Mm-hmm. So, and you're also... you know, that's also proven true by every time I try to describe those types of movies, I do like a list of things.
Yeah.
You know, it's like these like monster / action, brooding, goth, like new metal, early, like whatever. It's always a bunch of things. And I guess calling them new metal movies
It's so
works.
perfect.
It's so funny. Those crossovers of like genres in different art forms is always really funny to me because like just taking a genre of music and being like, this is also this movie. They
It's like,
embody the
I
same.
think I get it.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
How did that come up?
We were talking. Oh, I think he was just talking about what movie he was going to watch, and he specifically said, "I'm going to watch this new metal classic, Triple X." And I was like, "Triple X?
You're
How
like,
is that?
what does that
is
mean?
not a new metal. Like I didn't. That is not anything." But then I started like clicking together in my head. I'm like, so new metal must be like Underworld and stuff. And then he sent me the list, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's
You're
all
like,
of
this
these.
is it. Yeah, It's funny. Yeah, if you know, you know.
You know,
that is
you're
what
part of it.
That's what those movies are.
But I thought I would tell you so you can finally classify those movies.
You're right. You're right. I have a genre I can specifically say.
Yep.
I wonder if there's anyone who likes new metal movies that doesn't like new metal.
Probably a lot of people.
You think so?
I mean,
Because they embody the same mood. So I
Yeah.
feel like, because I've definitely had people be like, oh, I don't like movie. A lot of people I know like The Crow, but then I definitely have friends who don't like Underworld because they thought it was cheesy. And they also think new metal's really cheesy.
yeah.
The Crow came out in like the grunge era. So
It's El Grunjo.
it is a little bit. Also, how weird. It's so strange to me that this happens because I feel like we've had it happen a couple times. Not even on the podcast specifically, but just in general.
Yeah.
You're talking about something and then news about that thing comes out afterwards.
Yes.
We've talked about The Crow since December, I think 2 or 3 times. And just last week, the week we took off,
Yes.
after posting some videos about The Crow, when did we talk about it on the podcast the week before?
I think so, because I watched it.
That's what it was. Yeah, we had just talked about it. And news and images about the new Crow movie came out.
Yeah, which I didn't even know they were making one.
That's what's funny to me is I remember hearing about it, but then we were talking about it, and I remember in our conversation after you'd seen it, saying I think there's a remake in the works or something like that. So to have images come out literally the next week, I was like, the timing is so weird.
It's so weird. We're on the hot cusp.
We're definitely on the hot cusp. We also just changed the name of the podcast to the Hot Cusp Podcast.
It's almost like Keep Up.
It is. Yeah, the Hot Cusp.
The hot cusp.
What's really hard to say? I don't like it.
The hot cusp.
I do feel like if I saw the Hot Cusp podcast, I would watch it. I'd be like, what is the Hot Cusp?
We should make a new podcast every week. Only release one episode.
Yeah, that would actually be awesome.
It would just be like, here's our new podcast, The Hot Cusp.
Oh, shoot.
How much of a pain would that be,
Dude,
though?
it would be the worst. We could do once a month, so 12 times a year. We pay someone for a logo, new theme song, and we do a 45-minute podcast, and the Hot Cusp.
And then at the end, plug the Keep Up.
Yeah. Yes! The Keep Up sponsors every episode.
They're like, I don't know what this Keep Up podcast is, but they're getting around.
And we also sponsor the Keep Up on the Hot Cusp.
I'm ready.
I really want to do that. Hang on, I'm literally going to make a note in our notes real quick. The Hot Cusp. Hot.
What if that podcast takes off?
Then we are now the Hot Cusp.
We'll bring what we do to the Keep Up and just bring it to Hot Cusp.
No, what would be so funny is if the Keep Up just dissolves into the Hot Cusp. And then people are going back on like our YouTube channel. They're like, what is this? I don't understand.
Unboxing ring to the Keep Up to the Hot Cusp. We just keep going. We evolve.
Oh, dude, I was thinking about the unboxing ring the other day and how we steered away. It was probably mostly my fault. We decided to change. We were originally an unboxing channel on the Keep Up, a very poorly lit one, as earlier mentioned. And we changed our name because we started getting a bunch of like troll comments from people who were really big fans of this like cult series that was previously on YouTube called The Unboxing Ring. And we just thought we had a clever name. We had a super cool intro video. Not my intros, but the intro video was cool. And I was thinking about it like nowadays, I think we're privy to the idea that like all press is good press. And it's like all those troll comments probably would have built our channel faster than us like steering away from it. I probably made a bad call in being like, we got to get away from this.
No, it makes sense because we wanted to be our own thing. And you don't like, yes, all press is good press, but there comes to a point where it's like, okay, you want to get away from
That's true.
the connection.
We also didn't remain an unboxing channel.
Oh, right.
So,
That is part of it.
I mean, I would still open some stuff.
Yeah.
I do sometimes.
I do every day.
Sometimes I get stuff and I open it.
Mm-hmm. I open my little Tootsies.
Yeah.
Speaking of Tootsies, I've watched a lot of movies recently.
You did watch a lot of movies.
Too many.
Wait, I have one question.
Yes.
That I think will be further explored on the Hot Cusp. But how do you feel about the images of Bill Skarsgård's Crow?
Oh, yeah. I guess we didn't finish the conversation.
I'm just curious because it's fresh for you.
Yes.
And I've read a lot of things. A lot of people are upset because it kind of looks like the Joker from Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I didn't really get that. I thought he looked...
He just has tattoos and is like a svelte dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's like thin and kind of cut and has the tattoos and kind of looks like a SoundCloud rapper. But I've also seen a lot of people say he looks a lot like the original Crow in the books, which I haven't found an image where he looks like that. Bill Skarsgård's incredible, and
You haven't read the original Crow, right?
I haven't.
No.
But dude,
Do you have it?
No.
No, okay.
I was looking it up, and there's like a lot of books and like side stories and stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm dying to read them. Like that and Dune, I want to read everything in both. I'm like,
Dune. Does Dune have a graphic novel, or is it just
Yes.
the book? It does.
Yeah.
Would you prefer the graphic novel over the book?
I think I want to read the book first, to be
Yeah.
honest. And there were like 6 books.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing.
So does the movie follow all 6 books, or just the first
I
one?
believe parts 1 and 2 are literally just the first book.
Wow.
And then what I read, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I've read is that the next movie would be Dune Messiah, which is I think the second book.
Oh.
So
Jeez.
yeah,
I didn't. I thought it was the entire story of Dune
I did too.
in part 1 and 2.
Yeah, I did too. And even that, I could be wrong about what the book covers and where it ends off. It could be different than the movies, but I was looking up a lot of it yesterday, like how many books are there actually. I was very curious about whether there's a graphic novel, and there is. A bunch of other side stories too. And then I believe the original author's son, or I'm making that up just because they had the same last name or something, I can't remember, wrote a bunch of books after that original 6 books was completed. So yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot to the Duneverse.
The Duneverse.
And the Cronaverse.
Oh.
Yeah, gross.
I don't know if I like that.
I really want to read the comics for the Crow. And I'm excited about the new movie. I'm hopeful. We remain cautiously optimistic here on the Keep Up podcast.
We always do.
But how'd you feel about the image?
I thought he looked cool. I thought it was, it's tough because like remakes, I don't know how they'll ever capture the style and essence that was the original Crow.
That's tough.
So I am, I'm excited to see more.
Yeah.
But cautiously optimistic.
Right.
I want it to be good.
Right.
But it's specifically him. I thought he looked good. I mean, it's I want to see him in motion. I want to see how he's going to act and stuff. But did you see it was originally supposed to be Jason Momoa who was going to be the Crow?
I thought that was the case. That's right. I did, and I had forgotten. I feel like that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And
I just read it after the fact when they were like, this is what's happening now. Because I think he left because of Aquaman. He had to do stuff for Aquaman.
Okay.
So.
I'm personally happy with that change. No shade on Momoa, but
No, I thought he would have done pretty good.
Yeah, he could have been good. But I really like Bill Skarsgård, and because of that. And what's the last new metal movie we got? I just want this one to be the latest addition to my new metal watch list.
Yeah, it absolutely would.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What have we got? Nothing.
Maybe the Batman. Maybe you could add the Batman to your new metal playlist.
Yeah, maybe.
that is 3-hour long brooding Bat movies.
It rains the whole time. So.
Is The Dark Knight a new metal movie? I feel like that's not, but I feel like the Batman kind of is.
For sure. Yeah, because I think the style of it being dark and rainy and more gritty.
Right.
Where The Dark Knight's gritty too, but it doesn't feel new metal to me.
No, me neither. You know what's insane?
What?
We're about 50 minutes in, and I don't think we've talked about one thing on the list. Oh, the bulletin board.
The bulletin board.
All right, Tim watched a ton of movies. Let's talk about movies. We've been talking about movies.
Yeah, we're just going to keep going.
I feel like everyone's having a great time.
Yeah, this is going to be a 7-hour podcast.
Let's do it.
You like my new shirt?
It's not even lunchtime yet. Yes, I do. Yes,
After my Rouge one, I
it's
needed
no
an
Rouge,
Amy.
but it's a good shirt. Tim's wearing an Amy shirt. Amy from Sonic.
I needed the complete set of all the
People
characters.
who aren't Sonic fans just be like, "What's
Who's
Amy?"
Amy?
Just
Amy Winehouse?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Do you like my shirt?
No. Oh, it's sick. It's Ori.
It's Ori.
Dude, that's so cool. I was
that
looking
cool?
at it earlier. I'm like, what is this? I didn't even
that?
notice Ori in the middle.
Yeah, Sim goes, "Is that Stitch from Lilo and Stitch?" I was like, "No, but I kind of see what you're seeing."
Yo, can Ori 3 just be Stitch?
Oh, dude, my battery's gonna die. You got that?
What's it at?
15%.
You son of a gun!
It's been an hour.
I told you we needed the charger.
Where's the? I mean, the charger's right over there.
The
We just need-
extension cord.
Where is one?
How long is that? Well, I could plug it in there and get it.
It's pretty long. Will that come out further? See what you got to do. I'll vamp.
Okay.
Here's
Talk
what's
about
going.
what you watch.
Here's what's going on right now, guys. I didn't charge my computer overnight last night, which is madness. I do it every night before I come over to record, and I didn't do it. And when we started recording, my computer was at 40%, which I felt like was going to be fine. And it turns out, typically, I would be correct, because it's been about an hour, and that's close to how long our podcasts usually are. But because we took a week off, and Tim don't let it fold like that, dude. You're going to ruin my cable. Twist it. Goodness gracious.
What the heck?
Tim has no cable etiquette. I think it's on this side, actually.
On what side?
Right here. So because Tim won't stop watching movies, and we took a week off, we have 1,000 things to talk about. And we got to make sure that this battery gets charged. Oh, look at that. There it is. Come on, you got it. Boom. Infinite recording capabilities. All right.
I'm over here now.
Get back over here. We got stuff to talk about.
Dude, my stomach's about to grumble.
Why? What time is it? Oh, it's 11:30 actually.
Oh, what the heck?
What movies you been watching, Tim?
I watched Dune.
You did?
I did.
And?
It was great.
So good.
It's sci-fi Game of Thrones.
So I haven't seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah, 'cause
you
you're
know what
a
else I heard
loser.
was Game of Thrones?
What?
Shut up, first of all. You don't ever talk to me like that. Shogun. Have you seen the trailers for
I
Shogun?
want to watch it so
Me
bad.
too. Should we have a watch party?
It's on Hulu.
Yeah, we should watch it. Kojima gave it a raving review.
What did he say?
He just said it's basically like Game of Thrones, and while it's not as true to the
Novel.
original story, it is very true to the original show, maybe? Like, it was more faithful to the... Shoot, I forget what he said. Overall, it was a raving review.
Yes.
And if you... Listen, anybody listening or watching, if you don't follow Hideo Kojima on Instagram or just wherever, you should, to find out everything that you should be watching.
Yeah.
Because the man has exquisite taste. He watches everything.
Nothing is better than when he reviews something by saying nothing.
I know.
It's
Madam
my
Web.
favorite review. So...
The Madam Web thing is my favorite.
It's so good. He did. What else did he do it for? He did it for the Marvels too.
Oh, he just said he saw it?
Yeah.
So, did you see his Dune review?
No.
So the Dune review is so cool because he said, he's very widely respected by every artist, and he wrote a long paragraph about Dune, but one of the coolest things in it that
Dune Part 2.
Part 2. One of the coolest things in it was him saying, I was starting to think I really needed to just go back to watch, or just start watching movies exclusively on my smartphone or tablet. But Dune 2 reminded me, like, I need to remain going to theaters and stuff. So, which is really high praise.
Yeah.
But the funniest thing is, the way you know he didn't like a movie is, like, he shared the Madam Web poster and literally said, I saw this movie in theaters.
And if you know, you don't watch it.
It's the funniest review ever.
He just didn't like
I
it.
saw this movie, which, like, you're like, maybe this is just a translation thing, but no, he's just like, I went to see this.
And he knows
so funny.
by doing that, everyone explodes.
Which, literally, I saw full articles written about, like, the headline was literally longer than what he tweeted. The headline was like, Hideo Kojima, like, roasts Madam Web. And then the whole article, it's like 3 paragraphs. It shares his tweet, and it literally says, I saw this in theaters, which is a nice way. Like, it's really good to evolve the way you review things into where you just say, I saw this, and people know you're being like, this movie sucks.
Yeah, don't watch it.
I still haven't seen Madam Web, but not hearing great things. So, you watched Dune.
Yes.
How'd you feel?
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
It's a slow burn. It definitely is just like giving you information on top of information. And it's like, here's the world.
It's a lot. It's a big world.
Here's the families. Is there magic? Is there science? Is there what? Like, it's got so many elements from so many like fantasy and sci-fi things all mixed together.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel bloated. It doesn't feel like the first movie moves at a pace where there's like we both just said, there's a lot, but it's fed to you in a way where you're like, okay, I'm starting to like slowly build it up. Build my Dune knowledge, if you will.
Yes. Yeah. I think, we just saw it yesterday. And I will absolutely go again. I won't say too much about the new movie. Well, actually, there's not much that there's going to be nothing spoilery either way. We'll just talk about the universe as a whole, because I can say there's a reason Part 2 has a 9 out of 10 on IMDb right now.
Nice.
It is the whole universe. This is what I've been saying, and I wanted to ask you about this. Do you think it's crazy Dune is, I think it's my Star Wars. I've never wanted to, for the, backstory for anyone who doesn't have it. I like Star Wars. I consider myself a fan of Star Wars, but I've never been like magnetized to the universe. Like, I've really wanted to dig in as deep as possible. And I've seen all 9 movies. I watched The Mandalorian. I've played multiple games. Like, I like Star Wars. It's cool. But after just seeing the first Dune movie, I was like, I want to know everything about this universe, and I don't know why. Rach and I actually had like an hour-long conversation about it this morning. I think it might come down to how real the world feels. Okay. And what's interesting about your assessment of like the first movie, which is exactly right. It's a slow burn, but it's like for me, I was very interested in every moment of it. Like, I'm just really paying close attention. And I think what is interesting about that is you can kind of tell when they're skipping things. Like, because it's a book. Yeah. I feel like there are moments where I was like, okay, that must be described way more in the book. But you're not like mad at it. You're
right. It's not done in a way where you feel like you're missing out, where it detracts from the movie. Right.
Yeah. And it feels that way hugely in Part 2. But at no point was I like, even though there were moments where I was like, I feel like I don't entirely understand, I don't know, certain character motivations or whatever. It wasn't in a way that it was like confusing. It was like, man, this backstory must be so big in the book because it feels like they're jumping around, but it doesn't feel like they gave you everything that's necessary. Right. I feel like
just enough to get you like a baseline of the story.
And it's like, I guess the point being, if this is the baseline of the story, right? Like, I want everything.
You want the whole Duneverse.
Yeah, it's so good. So,
are you going to go back and watch the original movie?
I am. Yeah, I'm actually at a weird place now because I really want to read the book. Yeah. And I don't know if I want more than what I already have in my head. Like, I want to read the book first, and I don't know what the original movie did. I didn't even know that existed.
I've heard about it like over the years, but never really thought too much about it. Yeah, not until the new movies came out, and I was like, oh yeah, that exists.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it's funny. It just wasn't the first one even coming out. I was like, that looks cool, but it wasn't like top of my list for whatever reason.
What I didn't realize is how deep Dune is in like pop culture and stuff.
I know.
Referenced in so many things. Yeah. And I had no idea until after I've seen at least part 1 of this movie. But the original Dune more than anything is referenced a lot.
It's funny, like when I take a step back, I'm like, of course it is, because I have heard and known about Dune for, probably the majority of my life. And like, I'm learning how derivative some of Star Wars was from Dune, or like, I don't know if derivative's a fair word, but how much influence George Lucas took from Dune for Star Wars. And in my mind, did you see it in the first movie? Like, did you see that like parallel?
Star Wars parallel? In certain aspects. I saw more Game of Thrones than anything.
See, I haven't seen Game of Thrones, so I really got to see it. This is like the 3rd time this week someone's been like, it's kind of like Game of Thrones, and I'm like, I don't get that reference. Like, I do, but
yeah, you got to watch it. I mean, Game of Thrones, even if the ending's a little rough, it's the whole series itself is such a good ride.
Yeah, I should watch that. I really should.
But Dune itself was very good. Yeah, I feel like my biggest gripe, and this is just a personal thing, I don't like when characters or like when they predict the future, and you know the movie starts playing out like, oh, these things are actually happening, and you know, like the story could potentially be about changing fate and everything,
right?
But I don't like getting spoilers for things that may happen later.
Oh,
with the characters like, oh, I have these visions of the future.
So like the prophecy, like So there is a prophecy involved, and there are some characters who have like visions and premonitions, and it's funny, you know, I don't know that I've thought it out, but I don't know that I love that either.
Only because it's like, I don't know. I get it because it's part of the story and like part of his character and like what he, you know, ultimately decides to do, which I haven't seen part 2, so I don't know what happens.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just a personal gripe for me. I'm like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to know you have visions. It's spoilers.
Yeah.
Let me see it in the movie.
I don't. It is like, it does add a little bit though. Like, is it going to happen? That's usually the way it's used.
Right.
But yeah, I love all the little like minutia of the, like the prophecy and the overall like themes that are explored, you know, the abuse and pursuit of like power, the use of religion in like politics and things like that. Obviously like segregation and like different, I guess it's like social,
cultures?
Yeah, cultures and like, I guess socio-political concepts, like all that being explored is very clear. And that's really cool. I love the way that's done and really like blown up in part 2. It was so good and so well done, which made me want to read the book even more because we're talking 60 years ago now. Yeah, like I think 64 the novel came out.
Wow.
But the minutia of the world is so cool too. With like, you know, in the first movie, you see how the suits work. And I'm like, did he write about that technology 60 years ago? Because it seems like something now that we would be like, how do we do this? Like, I'd be impressed by that if someone handed me that suit now. I'd be like, what? This is the future. It's so wild.
I wonder if we will get that technology at some point.
I know. But
I mean, because I mean, I don't know how possible it actually is, but
yeah, I mean, it made sense.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I was like, okay,
is this real?
Did they bring this to the movie or was he writing about this in the 60s? Because that's so cool. And then there was another thing I was going to say, and I can't remember what it was, about the minute details of the movie and the things that happen in the movie and in the universe.
Maybe just related to technology?
Maybe.
There was instances of technology used that you just kind of accept that's what the technology is like, and it's cool.
Yeah. It's very cool.
And
this is an instance where we're talking about a movie that's so big. I feel like we didn't even give like the foundation of what the movie is. But I can say as a person, if you're a sci-fi fan, I feel like you got it. You got to see this movie. And I had no prior like connection to the story at all, and now I feel like I'm just like a massive fan.
Yeah, and that's exciting to jump into it. And now you have the older stuff to check out.
It is exciting. It really is. I'm feeling pretty amped about it, and nothing's really done that to me for a while. I feel like where I'm like, I want to become a part of this fandom.
I will be Dune.
Yes, I am Dune. I am the Dune keeper.
So, keeper.
Hard keeper.
Hard.
What else you watch?
I watch Conair.
Conair's great.
So good.
Yep, so good.
I mean, you've already talked about it at length, so I don't need to say.
Yeah, you were blasting through a bunch of 90s movies. You watched Airheads recently.
Yes.
You watched Conair.
Yep.
I don't want to interrupt you with Conair, but I watched another one that you watched.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
But yeah, Conair lives up to, you know, the what I think people remember the movie as being just like this crazy blockbuster, but also like kind of down to earth, but also insane, and it's just so good and so fun to watch.
It's so fun. It's very fun.
That's it. You just go watching it, not expecting anything. Like, I mean, it's serious, but it's not like a serious drama. If that makes sense.
I know what you mean, and I have a hard time describing it too. It feels like it captures an era, like an
it's
era
our next
of film.
new metal.
yeah. It feels in line with like Die Hard. Like it's a fun action movie, but it's not, you know, it doesn't take itself too seriously in some moments. I totally forgot Dave Chappelle was in it.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
It is.
Seeing him in that movie?
A bunch of people.
So yeah, the cast is crazy. Danny Trejo.
Yep.
What's his name? Malkovich, John Malkovich.
Yep.
Yep.
Steve Buscemi.
It's great. Stuve Buscemi.
Colin McCulkin.
Colin McCulkin.
Yeah, but yeah, it was just it's a super keeper.
It's very good.
It's just so enjoyable. I think that's like comfort movie for a lot of people.
Yeah. That's a good way to classify it. There's nothing that like, it's got an ending that.
It's got an ending.
It's got an ending. I love when a movie has an ending.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
But satisfying. It doesn't leave you like giving you much of like a part 2 or anything.
No.
A lot of movies always end and it's like the story's not complete, you idiots.
Yeah.
It's like, but I want it to be complete.
Gotcha, nerds. No, this is a full
movie.
Full movie. It's a great movie. I love Conair.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because go watch it.
Go watch it.
Keeper.
Keeper.
What else? What did you watch, Brett, that I watched?
Fresh off it.
And
it's actually wild that you saw it before I did.
Yeah.
But I had never seen Jean-Claude Van Damme in Timecop.
Timecop.
Yeah.
That's how it starts.
And I watched it. It kind of does. I was like, I want anything ever that I do to start the way Timecop does.
Timecop, seriously, the first 20 minutes
Yeah.
is insanity.
Well, even before that,
Yeah.
when Jean-Claude Van Damme's name shows up, before the title of the film, the theme song starts.
It's crazy to me to think how on top of the world he was and how he just disappeared. How he fell off.
Yeah. I wonder what the last movie was before he like came back with because I feel like when he did like JCVD where he plays himself, he was kind of coming back, and he's done a handful of movies in the past few years.
Yeah. What I read is that he was offered a contract. I forgot for what movie. Anyways, he was offered this like really nice contract, and he basically like spat in their face and said, "No, I need like millions and millions of more because I'm just that popular." And it totally ruined him after that.
Yikes!
He didn't get offered much, and it just. But he said it was also due, or at least what I read said it was due to him doing too much cocaine and drinking a lot and crashing really hard being a star. So, yeah. But I forgot what it was for a big movie too. Like it would have been awesome if he was in it, but I forgot what it was.
He was in. I wonder if Expendables was one of his big returns.
So probably that was probably something that
was so cool. Also, I can't believe you're spreading all these rumors about drug use and
go read the article.
JCVD saying
I'll find
mean
the
things.
article.
He's never been mean. Did he maybe kick the contract out of the hand of whoever was holding it? Yeah, that I can believe. Did he maybe take down a bunch of cocaine dealers and kick all the bricks of cocaine out of their hands? Yeah, maybe. And maybe that created a cloud of dust and he accidentally did a little bit of cocaine and then immediately was offered a contract. And to him, being under the influence of cocaine after kicking all the cocaine dealers and the bricks of cocaine into the air, accidentally was like, actually, I'm out here stopping crime and maybe pay me a little bit more. And then the guy was like, I'm going to ruin your career. And then he kicked the guy's head off on accident. And I think that's what's going on here. Rumors and lies, and you can't trust the internet or Tim.
I am not going to spread any more lies. Instead, we're going to talk about Timecop. Timecop. Dude, this is way better than Hard Target.
Okay.
Way better.
Two things. One, you liking this better than Hard Target is so weird to me because it is definitely same level of cheese. It's just a different kind.
Yeah.
There's just time travel. Dude, I could feed you.
That's not the only thing that
I could
like
feed
about
you a
it.
rotten egg and be like, this traveled here from the future. And you would be like, this is the best. Delicious.
No, because that means I would have liked the century egg that we ate. Because it time traveled from 100 years ago or however, it was 20 years
No,
old, right?
it didn't time. Yeah. Good Lord. That was rough. That was rough. Shout out Edward for the worst thing I've ever eaten.
Oh my God.
But we had Korean barbecue with Edward too, so maybe it evens out.
Right.
Oh, that egg was bad, dude. Did
So,
not like that.
Your logic is not sound.
That didn't travel through time though.
It did.
I feel like if it actually traveled through I guess it traveled through time the same way
Everything
we all
does.
do. All right.
Just the natural course of time. But yeah, I liked it way better than Hard
Interesting.
Target.
I also think it's really weird to compare the two. That's like, it's like being like Dude, John Wick was way better than Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. They're like different.
They're not that far off from each other.
No, that's fair. They're both action movies, but
yeah.
All right, so what did you like about this one?
It was the right level of cheese.
Okay.
I was in the mood for cheese. I was in the mood for 90s.
Yeah.
90s cheese, if you will.
I will.
And yeah, it hit all the right things. It had some crazy action.
An aged cheddar, if you will.
Right, an aged cheddar.
It did have good action.
Yeah, I liked the concept of them having to travel through time to stop other people messing with time, the timeline. It had some twists
it did.
that I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
It gets weird.
Oh, those twists get you.
Yeah.
But I See You is a trash thriller. But Jean-Claude Van Damme's 1995
Dude.
action. Is it 95? I don't know. It might be earlier than that, actually.
95.
Can't be 95. Sorry,
94.
keep going. It did have some twists.
Yeah. It was just fun.
It was fun.
It was just fun.
Also based off a graphic novel.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Curious to read that too.
Timecop 94.
Oh, so close.
So close.
Same year as The Crow.
I guess so.
Fun year.
That's a good year.
I think it was pretty impressive how they dealt with time travel. I don't know if it's because they kept it relatively simple.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I feel like time travel is like a big. You got to be careful if you're using it in a movie.
It gets pretty complicated.
People are going to pull it apart and be like, "Well, this wouldn't work because." But I feel like maybe because they were vague about some parts of it, it worked pretty well. Like I didn't see anything where I was like, "That doesn't make any sense."
Right. It's like if time travel was real, this is how it would be dealt with.
They established early on like we can't just go back and like kill Hitler because it'll mess up it, like as much as we'd all want to do, whatever in the past, we can't do it because it'll screw everything up.
It'll mess everything
so
up.
they clear all those questions, right? It's like, okay. What I did think was kind of funny, there's two things about it.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely a keeper. Let me be clear up front.
It's a keeper.
Jean-Claude Van Damme is in it. Keeper.
That's it.
And it is great. It was very, very fun watch. As far as Jean-Claude Van Damme sci-fi movies, I actually think what was it called? The Legionnaire.
Haven't seen that one.
That one's cool.
Legionnaire?
Yeah. I really liked that one.
And before we forget, what's Timecop even about?
Oh, yeah. So, Timecop is where Jean-Claude Van Damme talks about all the things he consumes, be it media or food. So you are learning about a new government agency that has discovered time travel. And basically this one scientist has figured out how to time travel, and the agency is being formed in order to police it and make sure that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands, essentially. And then you meet Max. I feel like his name was like Max Welker.
Max Kruger.
Kruger?
No, I don't know. McComb?
No, that's the bad guy.
I don't see any Max. All they have is just one letter or just one name.
What are you talking about?
It's just like Melissa and
Walker.
Walker. Oh, I was like,
yeah. Why doesn't it say? It doesn't say his. That's weird. It just gives everyone. It can only lists everyone's first name.
I think.
No, some are first, some are last.
That's why I was like, it's
who's
one
responsible
name?
for this? So McComb is the bad guy's last name.
Yeah,
that's really weird.
I don't know why they listed it. Like
that's very strange. But anyways, you meet Jean-Claude Van Damme's character, and he's been offered a position at I think it was the TEC is what they called it, but it's the new agency responsible for keeping the time travel under wraps. Now, what I think is funny is they basically discover that they can do it.
Yes.
And immediately are like, this cannot be used. Like, the agency is not created really to like, well, eventually I guess it is. Like, they become time cops and go back and solve and stop these time anomalies.
Yeah.
But initially, like, the first conversation that you see is these government officials being like, all right, so this guy created it. I know you're all going to laugh, but we need money to fart.
Yo, we need money to fart, baby. That's what our Patreon is.
We pretty much we need.
That's a good flub.
We need money to start a new agency to make sure it never gets used.
Right, and when you think about that, it's like you need to create a force to stop people from using it.
Yeah,
but why not just not use it?
Don't invent it.
Right,
like, figure out first that it's a bad idea, because he's literally like, we can't go back and change anything.
Right.
We can't.
So what's the point of the technology?
We can't stop any of history's villains.
Right.
We can't go to the future because it hasn't happened yet. These are all the things he legitimately says. And then he's like, we need money to start. Don't even go to the government.
You're right.
Blow up the machine.
That's it. Kill
if
the
it
guy.
only has negative implications.
Yeah.
So that
Right.
was.
If you don't intend to use it, he sets it up like it's going to get out and people are going to abuse it.
Yeah.
Why?
He's like, someone in this meeting is going to nefariously take over and try to go back. And I don't know. It's like, what is it for?
Yeah.
In that whole meeting, which happens in the first like 15 minutes.
Which I think he says like the scientist was just trying to see if he could do it. Like, see if he could make it, I guess. Right. But again, why?
It's like, okay, I did it. But now what? Just like, why? I don't know.
But eventually people start abusing it. You know who starts abusing it is the cops. At
Yes.
least the initial case you see, it's a cop abusing it,
Right.
because they have the power to use the technology.
They know about it. They're the only ones who know about it.
Yeah,
So,
and
also, if nobody knew about it before, how did none of them suspect an inside job if they're like only people in this room know about it?
And how they travel back in time requires like 6 people. So 6 people had to know they sent him back. He could cover it up and be like, oh, I'm just doing like a case thing. But like all these people know that guy's being sent back.
It's very
to change
weird. So the setup's a little rough. But the rest of the movie from there, because you just accept it. You're like, all right, I get what they're doing. It does make sense that you'd want to keep it. But it's just so funny being like, a scientist invented this. And it's not like, here are all the positives, and then here's why we need to keep it safe. It's like, literally nobody can even touch this. Only bad things will happen.
We just want to create a force to stop when it eventually becomes bad.
And then what are you paying for? Wouldn't the force be like 2 guys standing in front of like a safe that has the only machine? Because definitely don't make more than one.
Right.
We created it. It's awful. Nobody can ever use it. What is it? What is this movie about? Maybe I got to read the comic.
Yeah, maybe there's a little more logic to it.
But after that,
yes.
We follow Jean-Claude Van Damme after a tragic happening that may or may not involve time travel, but as a good officer, he knows he can't go back and change the past.
No, he couldn't do that.
But there's something going on, and someone, the first case that he which, as you mentioned, is one of the officers who abuses it, because they're the only friggin' people who know that it exists, so of course it's them.
Right.
And you do get to see a pretty cool sequence of him going back in time. I like the way that they travel. I think it was kind of cool.
Yeah. And to travel, it's funny that they have to use like this crazy car to travel.
Yeah.
To initially, but then they just have this little thing to return. Like, why can't they reverse engineer that technology so they can go?
Also, where's the car go? Because they show the car and the people disappearing, and I don't know why there's a wall in front of them that they mention has previously killed agents.
Why not just make a track that just keeps going until they keep going?
Because you can't have it out in the open.
So just make it longer.
That's true. Make it longer.
Underground.
They were like, this is as much track as we've got.
That's
if you
all
don't
we can
time
afford.
jump by here, you will die.
Because then when they time travel, you see it. They like land in the like Washington Monument water or whatever it was.
Yeah.
What's that called? The Lake of Dreams, the political
Washington Monument water.
What is it?
Just say a lake.
It's not a lake though.
Where are they?
It's like that little long stretch of water. You know, Martin Luther King walked with all the people. I thought so.
Washington Monument.
Because they're in Washington. They time travel to Washington.
Oh, that's right.
And they land in like the little pool.
I forget where they
What's
land.
it called?
That was a cool segment when he's traveling with the other officers. I don't know what it's called.
We're just picking apart this movie.
Definite keeper.
It is. It's a fun movie. It's fun. Jean-Claude Van Damme. I had the trouble saying his name. He is as wacky as he is in every other movie, in the sense of like his accent makes him talk kind of funky sometimes, but it's all his character.
His wife makes fun of him at one point.
She does.
He says something about like, I think that guy was. Oh, what does he say? I think that guy read my mind. And she's like, with your accent or with your English, he'd have to. It's the only way to know what you're saying, which is really funny. But I also love that his name's just like Max Walker. And like, they don't discuss why he has like the thickest accent ever.
No, he's just
whatever.
Well, do you do that in real life for anybody who has an accent?
Well, it doesn't. No, I guess not.
Come on, Brett. 2024. Move on.
You're right.
Move on.
There are plenty of Max Walkers out there that talk just like the muscles from Brussels.
But yeah, the movie itself is just fun. There's
it's very
again
fun.
crazy action. The story is, I think, pretty rewarding to watch.
Yeah,
all the way
I think
through.
so. There is something that I won't say what it is because it would be a spoiler. There's something to me that is absolutely tragic about the ending, and it is not overtly a tragic ending.
Yeah.
But
I wonder if we have the same thought.
yeah, maybe.
We'll discuss.
I feel like likely, but yeah, I would definitely say it's a keeper if you're a fan of movies of that era, especially action movies that are like you overlook a couple of like goofy things, but it's definitely a fun watch. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I would say Jean-Claude Van Damme with guns is fun, but
it's funny you say that. He barely uses a gun until the end.
yeah,
But the whole movie, like there are guys attacking him,
Yeah.
and he has a gun, and he either loses it or doesn't use it.
but
and
that's the
kicks
thing.
everything.
I want more like hand to hand.
Yeah,
so
it's-
that's why they do that. I guess.
Yeah, it's cool, but I'm just like, it's so funny because there's guys shooting at him, and he's like, I have a gun. Too bad. I'm going to start kicking everybody.
They
It's like,
find ways.
All right.
I'm always watching that. Like, okay, how do they get him? Like, he's in an empty warehouse across the room from like 8 dudes with guns.
Yeah.
How do they get him close to them and avoiding all of the bullets the whole time?
Yep.
There's one really cool hand-to-hand fight scene in his apartment. Remember
Yes.
that one? I
Yep.
thought that was pretty good. Couple of crazy one-liners.
Oh, so good, though.
So good. Like the cheesiest. There was one he said that like just is. Oh, no. A guy shoots at him and he goes, say ah. And it's not even like there's no doctor references. Like
nothing.
they're
I
outside
thought
in the
about that
dark
too,
and it's
yeah.
raining. Like there's nothing. And then at one point he does say, ooh, that's gotta hurt. Just the best like cliche one-liners
It's
ever.
so good.
Yeah, it rules. Timecop's keeper. Did you watch other movies?
Anything else I want to talk about?
I don't know, dude.
I watched Saltburn.
Oh, you did.
It's crazy.
Saltburn is crazy.
It's one that I really, when I saw the trailer, I'm like, I'm not going to watch this.
Yeah.
It didn't look like one I was interested in. And I watched it, one, because you watched it, and two, I thought it was because it was part of like the Oscar movies, because
Yeah.
I was trying to watch all those. It's not. I don't know. It's not up for best film. It might be up for other stuff, but it
Yeah, it
wasn't
might be.
up for best picture.
Feels
so.
like an Oscar movie.
Yeah, it feels like kind of the Oscar bait. But yeah, honestly, there's not much you can say about this movie without spoiling it, because the whole movie is just one big mystery. And the experience of watching it with very little knowledge is the best way to watch it.
Totally.
But it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
You don't
So-
want kids in the room.
No, you do
You
not.
don't.
I forget how, because I feel like I gave a little bit of a story, but essentially you're following someone who seems like kind of the outcast, kind of the nerd at school, and then he kind of falls in with this family who's very in a very different place socially and economically, and then relationships build and kind of unfold in a way that I felt were extremely suspenseful the whole time. I was like, I don't really. It intentionally pushes you in multiple different directions,
Right.
regarding how you feel about different characters in the movie, and really until the very end, I don't feel like it's possible to have a full grasp on what's going
No,
on.
because you don't really know ultimately, like, if there's a protagonist and an antagonist, and if there are, who
Right, you
they
don't.
are. It's not clear at all.
I think that's the biggest thing, is it's kind of like ambiguous genre-wise. So you're like, I'm not sure, which I think that's a really interesting thing that we do. Like, you're watching a movie and you're like, okay, what kind of movie is this? Like, should I be expecting explosions? Should I expect like Oscar performances? Like, what am I looking for? And I watched this really not knowing, and I do think it's an incredible movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's not one that I'm going to be dying to watch again anytime soon.
No, I think it's a one-time watch.
Yeah, I think it was one and done. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good watch all the way through. Definitely kept me engaged.
It did.
Because I wanted to see where everything ended up.
Yeah.
and why I was watching it.
Yes.
Because it's not clear for a long time.
And I think that's the successful suspense, is what
Yes.
I would call it. Yeah. Cool. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
I feel like it, I didn't know how you'd feel about it, but now
I didn't know until I watched it either.
You had a couple other Oscar movies on here.
I watched Poor Things and Killers of the Flower Moon.
You did. All right. These are big deals.
These are big deals. meh.
Yeah?
I was kind of meh on both of them.
Interesting.
Poor Things, I was really hopeful for.
Yeah.
That has
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone.
I really like Emma Stone.
And, oh my God, what's his name?
I actually don't know who else is in that.
It's Willem Dafoe.
Is that still recorded? Oh, it is. Good.
Good thing you checked.
I love Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, and he's great too. Poor Things, if you don't know, is the story of this woman who tragically has left the mortal plane, and Willem Dafoe takes it upon himself to bring her back to life, a la Frankenstein.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Right, it's a little like jarring at first because you get thrown right into it. It's not like it builds up to anything. And so it's about Emma Stone's character learning what life is, and it's like if Frankenstein went right as opposed to Frankenstein going wrong.
Oh, okay.
So she's like growing and like learning things about life, and so conceptually it's cool.
That sounds pretty cool.
It's got some like weird, wacky visuals, a little Alice in Wonderland-y.
I love that.
Because it is, and there's a lot of parallel and references to it throughout the whole movie, because she is on a path of discovery. But it definitely goes in a direction that I wasn't expecting.
Okay.
Very, very heavy on the sexual themes and stuff.
Oh, all right.
And because her brain is like that of a kid, it gets like
Ooh.
conceptually freaky. People seem to love it. That, me personally, I was like, I don't really like that she's like a kid and being thrown into these adult situations.
Yeah.
Mentally
weird.
a kid, physically not.
Right.
So it makes me think that like everybody in Hollywood is freaks.
Yeah.
Even more so than what the world thinks already. But what is there, like, if you can look past that, there is some, I know, and I don't know. That's why I don't like it. That's personally why I don't like it. But again, maybe there's deeper layers to it. I could just be looking at it at a surface level, and it's, a coming of age movie, and her, again, adjusting to real life, and how people treat her as an adult, even though mentally she's not an adult. And I don't know. It feels like one of those really like wacky underground movies that I'm really surprised is up for Best Picture at the Oscars.
Some of those have to be the reasons it's up for it. Like it's, heavily discussable, like took risks, that kind of stuff.
That's the thing. Like, it is just so out there and really has some crazy concepts that I think are good for discussion.
Doesn't sound like the most enjoyable watch, though.
Yeah, there is just a lot of stuff that I was just like, I wasn't even uncomfortable. I'm just like, why are they going so heavy in this direction? Like, I want to see more about, and it's about her growth. So there are reasons for it to be as intense as it is. Sure. And I like Emma Stone. She kills it. Yeah. She does a really good job. Just great acting, and her character's cool and all that stuff. But yeah, I ultimately wasn't super satisfied with it. Yeah. I didn't have a good time, and it's long. It feels really long. Yeah. I think it's 2.5 hours. And
it's pretty long.
Yeah, it just felt like it kept going. Huh. So yeah, I was kind of disappointed. I honestly wouldn't say keeper.
Really?
I would say sleeper.
Whoa, dude.
Because of it's just whoa. It's one of those artsy fartsy films.
Which can go one way or the other.
Yeah,
I
just didn't feel the artsiness with it. Yeah. But hey, if you can watch it, go check it out.
Timecop, keeper. Poor Things, sleeper.
Which is crazy because it might win. Because its competition it's all right. It's all over the place. Yeah. And then Killers of the Flower Moon, which is Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro. It's great. It's a good movie. Way too long. It's an hour longer than it ever should have been.
Bummer.
It feels very Oscar baity. You just hit all the things that you would expect from an Oscar type movie.
Which it's one of those things that's so weird because it's like when you hear a song that's very simple and people will say, but gets really popular, and people will say, like, anyone could write that. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, but not anyone did. But I still understand the complaint. Like, the song is so bland, and, like, it's nothing but maybe a hook and, like, a catchy beat.
That's it. It's super catchy, and everyone's singing it, and it's popular because it's just, it hits that really well.
Right. It's a minute and a half long, and now that person's a millionaire.
Right.
With obviously completely different than like an Oscar-worthy film, but it is interesting that you can like clock, these are all the Oscar-worthy things and attributes. Yep. So it feels like, especially if it's not like you watch it and you're like underwhelmed, it feels like, oh, they just did all the Oscar-y things.
Right,
But it's not like that's an easy thing to do.
No, that's the thing. Like, the movie itself is so impressive. Great cinematography.
Yeah.
Everyone acts well. The story is great. Like, it's all really good. But because it's so Oscar baity, like you can tell they're just going through the checklist. Like, have really good actors, have a intense story, have some dark scenes, make it a drama. Like, it just hits all those marks. So it's like, okay, I've seen this before, done in different ways.
You've seen like the formula before.
Yeah.
Feels a little self-indulgent because it's 12 hours long.
Yeah, I think being 3.5 hours certainly is, and that's the thing you expect with Martin Scorsese at this point.
Sure, yeah.
Because the what was the other one? The Irishman.
I still haven't watched that.
That one was really good too.
Yeah.
Same thing though. It's just like it's super self-indulgent. It is for the cinephiles out there who just want the intense, really good film. So it was good. I liked it better than Poor Things.
Yeah.
But I also still was ultimately underwhelmed by the end.
Okay.
Because it was an hour too long.
Yeah.
The story should have finished, and because they. Yeah, and just if you guys don't know what the story is, it's essentially it is a series of murders that happened in a where was it specifically?
I don't know, Tim.
I'm looking it up. Hold on. It was I want to say it's in Ohio or something.
Okay, then say that.
I want to be specific. Okay,
just say that.
Anyways, it's a series of murders that happened to Oklahoma, to the Osage Nation. Osage Nation.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, which is like a group of Native Americans that discovered a oil. The land they own is covered in oil, and so they're all super rich. And it's kind of crazy because then you see a ton of white people coming to try to trick them to either get their land or become their friends so they can get more money. So it's a really cool look at this because it's based on true events,
right?
Of how this Indian tribe really were twisted around and tricked, and ultimately a lot of them were murdered just because they had money.
Yeah.
So it's the story of all these murders, and Leonardo DiCaprio being the nephew to one man in particular who really wants a lot of money, and maybe some criminal things happen. Maybe not. Maybe they're connected. Maybe they're not. You gotta watch it.
You gotta watch it.
But yeah, ultimately, I was left. It's a keeper. Just be prepared. You might want to split it into multiple nights.
Okay,
might want to watch it.
But keep this one on the list.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. And that was it. That was my Oscars adventures.
Dude,
so
you watched
far.
so many movies.
I know. There's more movies, but I'm not talking anymore.
I've watched a lot.
Yeah. What have you watched?
We don't need to get into it.
What are we at? An hour and a half?
We're at, we just broke an hour and a half.
Nice.
Which actually isn't that bad. We did pretty good.
Oh,
dude, I watched Saltburn 20 movies ago.
Holy crap. Oh, shoot.
This is actually kind of wild.
That's insane.
I watched a lot. I've watched The Waterboy twice.
Do you count both of them?
Yeah.
Both watches?
Yeah.
Champion.
I count
I do it for movies that I see multiple times too.
I always count it. Every time I watch a movie, I write it down.
That's smart.
Because I spent the time. The other day, I had a movie on in the background while hanging out with some friends, and I was like, "Oh, do I count this?"
I mean, did you watch it?
Parts of it.
Probably.
I did. I didn't count it.
Yeah.
So we have the option of going into video games, or we have the option of having a very game-heavy episode next week. We do have some other stuff we were going to record today.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it video games or nothing?
Huh?
I have books and comics.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's So we have multiple options. I don't know what I was talking about.
You were just like video games or nothing.
I'm riffing. That's just next in the list, and I know you've played a lot, so I assumed that's where you wanted to go. But
yeah, I kind of want to do books and comics, to be honest.
You want to do that?
I've been reading a lot.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Have you read anything good lately?
What have you been reading, Timothy?
Dude, I have been on a tear.
A tear?
Pun intended. Get it? Because books, paper. Tear.
Oh, I didn't get it at first, but now that you've explained it, I definitely get it.
I'm glad I did.
Thank you for doing that.
Did you ever read the Tomb Raider comics back in the day?
I believe I did read a few. Top Cow?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Top Cow comics. So I read the first arc, if you will. The first. It was
4 issues?
4 issues, yep.
I did read that.
You did. Do you remember anything about it?
I want to say it was about like a woman who explores and finds artifacts, and maybe there's some like business guy who wants to find it before her.
I'm so upset.
Is that?
I mean, yeah, that's it.
Is that it? I feel like that was
That's
it.
pretty much it. Yeah, it's yeah, I was just in the mood for like the new like Tomb Raider collection came out, and
yeah, that's right.
I wasn't playing it, but I was in the mood for Tomb Raider.
Yep.
So I thought I would find and read the comics. So the whole series is they had 50 issues. The whole run.
Okay.
But I read pilots, which was it had issue 0 and then 1.5, and then issues 1 through 4.
Graphic novel, or like in a trade, or how'd you get it?
I just found it online.
Oh,
I
cool.
just typed in
Okay.
Tomb Raider comics, and they had
Nice.
the whole thing. So I was like, okay,
Heck yeah, let's go.
But they might have a trade at some point. They better.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But yeah, I was having a good time. It's I forget how important comics were to fleshing out video game stories back in the day.
Yeah.
Because like the games obviously had it.
Yeah.
But you know, the limitations of the consoles and stuff didn't allow them to make such huge stories. Because
true.
like when you start Tomb Raider, you're just Lara Croft exploring caves and
Dude,
stuff like that.
I remember like
Is there a story?
years going by and being like, is there a story
Yeah.
for like she's rich and finds stuff and sometimes fights bears and like shoots guys?
Right.
Like, why is she killing? I remember one day being like, why do you ever kill guys in that game? Like she just murders people?
She does. She just
What
has
is
the
the
guns.
story? What does she do? I don't get it.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
And so these comics build up her lore, her backstory, and everything. One thing I got to say right off the bat, this art was thirsty.
Oh, dude, that's Top Cow. So that era in comics specifically, Top Cow, Image, I think even some Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
But specifically the sort of peripheral comic book publishers that were like competing with Marvel and DC. There were Disney comics.
There were.
I think those might have been under Archie. I forget, but
Archie did a lot.
so there was like Danger Girl. That was a little thirsty.
Yep.
But Top Cow was the worst offender. Do you remember Witchblade?
I do.
Also Top Cow.
So the Tomb Raider comic, the first Tomb Raider comic was a crossover between Laura and Witchblade.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That was the first time she was in a comic.
Oh wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yes, real thirsty.
Real
thirsty.
I mean, Laura, I've never seen drawn in such a way. I mean,
So voluptuous.
she was like a big video game sexy symbol.
Yeah, she was
back in the day.
Also, I love you turning the word sex symbol into sexy symbol. I don't know why.
I'm
Just that
thinking of
extra.
PG, Brett.
Yeah.
There's a big difference when you add a Y. You can say
I do
sexy.
agree with that. I
you
do
can
agree with
say
that.
sexy on like kids' cartoons,
Yeah, you can. I know.
but you can't say sex on it.
No, it feels like too much.
It's too much.
Can't
It's
believe
intense.
you keep saying it.
I
dude.
know. Disgusting.
Yeah, that's a very astute observation.
Yes, and she is there because nothing is worse. I believe it's in the issue 0. There is a part where Laura, after her origin story, is basically there's a big plane crash and she survives. And she has to like survive on.
But her clothes don't.
That's exactly it. There's one point in particular where she is in this like pool of water, and she's talking about how she's like not going to be able to survive, but her legs are wide open, and her hair's like down, and her chest is out. She's wearing like a bikini basically.
Yeah.
But the fact that her legs are wide open and she's sitting in this water and it's a full page.
And it's like,
and
of
then
course
her
it is.
thoughts are all around. I mean, I'm not upset at the picture. I'm just like,
It's like, why?
in the scenario that she's in,
Yeah.
where she is contemplating like, is she gonna survive?
Yeah.
And she's just sitting in water with her legs wide open. I'm like, what is this?
I'm in such danger.
I'm not gonna make it. And then the next page is like a couple like quick little drawings of her like fighting bears and surviving and stuff. And they're like, I'm a hero now. And I'm like, okay,
All right.
okay.
Tim, you can be a sexy hero.
Yeah, you can be.
You know?
But I do enjoy the art. Like, a
Yeah,
lot of it
I know.
is, just Laura being in these crazy situations and positions. And, but there's like early on, I think it's issue like 2. She does this whole underwater fight and it's wicked cool because everything's like a dark blue because they're underwater.
Oh, yeah.
But when she's like slicing up guys, the blood like mixes in with the blue and the coloring is just really well done.
That's awesome.
I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah.
The story itself's cool. It's a little bit of mystery, intrigue. It's introducing characters that I didn't know existed in Tomb Raider lore, but I don't know if they're comic exclusive or like whatever it is. But I really enjoyed what I read.
Yeah,
they were fun.
I remember having fun with them, and it is just like if you have like an itch for Tomb Raider, like that kind of adventure, like the comics did fill that. And yeah, I like the art of that era a lot too. Like a lot of the, I was huge into like the Image and Top Cow kind of universes. Everything got really like, I don't know. It was just like the art was really crisp and like, but everything got super shiny. I feel like around that era, you know what I mean?
I
like,
can see that.
Everybody's so shiny.
Yeah.
But there was just, I really did like that art. It was probably like, I'm trying to think, Jim Lee and who else? Mark Silvestri. That was like
the main artist.
What's the other? Yeah. They were really big artists of that era. Obviously, Todd McFarlane and like Greg Capullo. Like a lot of that art was very like it had a certain. It was kind of new metal.
Yeah,
I guess a little bit.
It is new metal.
It was a little bit like Witchblade and the Darkness and Spawn
grunge.
and like a little bit. But I the art was really good, as thirsty as some of it was.
Right.
Because I remember loving Witchblade and the Darkness, and they had a lot of crossovers. And some of the Witchblade art was like out of control.
God. She's not even wearing clothes half the time.
And I, whatever, I don't even know how old I was. I was definitely a kid, and I was like, I don't think I'm allowed to even look at this, but I really want to read these books. But that's cool. It's cool to hear that it holds up, because I do remember going back. I mean, it's probably 12 years ago or something that I read those, because I was just getting back into comics after years of not reading anything, and I found that arc, and I was like, I'm gonna go through and read this, and I remember it being good.
Yeah, it is funny though, because there's no rhyme or reason. She just blatantly kills people. Like,
that's just
up, like the guys who attack her underwater. She like stabs one guy in the neck and like chokes out the other guy, and it's just funny.
It's like an Uncharted too. It's like or Indiana Jones. If you are searching for artifacts, you can murder anybody that gets in your way.
And you don't get in trouble.
You don't.
You don't.
It's part of the rules.
It's part of the rules.
It's like fights in hockey. If you're an archaeologist and you're just finding cool old stuff, anybody who tries to get there first, you can kill them.
You can kill. It's first come, first serve.
That's all it is.
It's the life of a pirate, really.
Are any of these like quote unquote heroes that we like from this genre any better than the villains that they're killing?
No.
Like they're both just people trying to add to their collection.
Right, because like they're not doing good things. Like at the end, I think. Well, not at the end, but like a lot of times the heroes will like return the art back to like the original tribe.
That's the only
or
difference.
Museum, but that's not good.
The only difference is what shelf you're putting it on.
That's it. You're right.
Are you putting this on a shelf in your room or in a museum? My room.
Then you die.
You die. It's so funny.
Oh, it really is.
But still, they're the bad guys.
Because
they wear suits and stuff.
Right. They have suits and money.
Suits and money, bad guys.
Yeah. Like at one point, she blows up a helicopter.
Of course.
There's like 5 guys in it, and the one guy that she means to kill is a bad guy.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just hired by him.
Yeah.
And you got the helicopter pilot.
Just flying.
And she blows up the whole helicopter.
Does the bad guy get away?
No. He gets blown up.
Well, at least she got her target.
She did.
Peripheral damage is
It doesn't matter. But it is funny
collateral?
when you like think, collateral damage.
Whatever, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, I would recommend so far what I read. Again, a little thirsty.
Yeah, just be prepared. It's a little thirsty.
But I mean, that's comics.
That's comics.
That's comics.
Not all
Keeper,
of them.
though.
Keeper. Tomb Raider. Keeper.
The other one I want to talk about.
Tell me what it is.
Did you ever read? Did you ever read the run of Street Fighter Origins comics?
Street Fighter Origins, no.
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
So back in, let me find it specifically.
I'll let you find it specifically.
Because the thing with Street Fighter and many fighting games is story. You kind of just infer from whatever you're doing. Like every arcade mode has your rival, the main villain, and barely any story.
And you're just like, what's their outfit and how do they fight? And then you have to build a backstory. You're like, all right, this guy's dad died at some point. He's trying to avenge him.
And it takes you like 6 games to build up the story. Because they give you like a little bit, like, okay, he was trained by that guy. And who's this guy? You
don't even realize you're building the story in your head. But by the 6th one, you're like, I know everything about Ryu.
Yeah, he's a dad and Ken's his son and Sagat is their evil grandfather. It all makes sense. It all makes sense to
Good.
me.
So we have the same story. I'm glad.
So Udon Entertainment, which
Yep.
is known for doing a ton of Street Fighter stuff and
Yeah.
other anime, or not anime, but video game adaptations and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. There was a series of comics that came out called Street Fighter Origins,
Okay.
which gave origins to characters that either just don't have much story or don't have a clear origin.
Yeah.
So I read Street Fighter Origins Akuma.
Okay.
And holy crap.
What? It's good?
So good.
Really?
And Akuma, I've never really thought about his origin other
Yeah.
than that he's just straight up evil.
Yeah.
That he's just like a bad guy who is like some Oni demon beast.
Yeah.
And so this story really expands on the history and how he like became evil
Okay.
and his relation to other characters, because there is the trainer of Ryu,
Yeah.
which is Goken, I believe. Or,
Goken, yeah.
Goken.
I knew it started with a G.
Right.
But that's kind of what I was imagined for Akuma, because I don't think I knew, but I imagined him to be like an Oroku Saki Shredder character,
Right.
where he's like, fell out with the dojo and he's like, I will do my own work or whatever.
Which
I want to wait. Is there a Street Fighter Turtles crossover? Yeah, that happened recently. I wonder if Akuma.
I have the run. I wonder if Akuma shows up.
Akuma and Shredder crossover.
they
That's the
gotta.
thing. We've talked about it before, but the best thing about crossovers is the parallel between villains.
Yeah.
Because you figure out how similar some like the villain archetype is, and B, it's just cool to see like the Joker and like who was it? It was the Joker and
Krang?
no,
Couldn't have been Shredder. Bebop and Rocksteady?
no.
I haven't read those, so I don't know.
Wait, was it the Joker? No. In the first Turtles and Batman, it was Ra's al Ghul and Shredder that met,
That makes sense.
which was cool.
Yeah.
And then I forget, it was Bane and someone else in the other one.
Because Joker, I don't know who the Joker could go with.
I was trying to think of, no, there was another crossover. Oh, it's Spawn Batman. And it's the
Oh.
Joker and Clown.
Yep.
Oh, no, the Spider-Man one was the best
Oh
one.
my God.
Because it's Carnage and Joker.
They're
the same
And doesn't
character.
Joker say like Carnage is too crazy even for his
Yeah,
standards?
I think Joker's like, this is a bit much.
This is too much.
Which is just like stuff like that's awesome. You only get that stuff in crossovers.
Yeah.
So. But that's really cool. So what made it so good? It's just well written. Like
Yeah, it's well written. It's fascinating because it does touch upon other characters in Street Fighter lore.
that's cool. So it just brings you deeper into a world that you already know you love.
Yes, exactly. And it was just written well. There was a lot of, and again, the world building. So like seeing that there's a seedy underground fighting tournament before like Street Fighter and all that stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
And how Akuma connects to it. It's just because it's an origin for more than just Akuma. I
Right.
won't say who else because it's part of the story, but you do see it really feels like the origin to Street Fighter, really.
That's awesome.
I was in love with it, and the art was really good. The fighting, there wasn't honestly as much fighting as I expected.
Okay.
It's way more of just like story and characters talking and all that stuff. But there are some fights. There are some cool fights. But yeah, I just and again, it makes me think like I wonder. From all the Street Fighter games I've played, I have known nothing about Akuma other than that he's just evil and Ryu wants to destroy him.
Yeah, he's just like clearly the antithesis of Ryu. Like,
Yeah. And
he's so strong.
so is there any origin story you would want to read for a character? Because they have a bunch. I'm trying to see what year this came out.
I feel like I know Chun-Li's, but I would want to read hers to get more. I guess, yeah, if they're expanding it more like that. Because I know Chun-Li is, she was a police officer. I believe her father died in the line of duty, and that was like the whole thing. With her getting into the tournament to try to learn, I forget who it was. Maybe it was Bison. Someone in the tournament killed her father, and so that's why she was trying to get in.
Yep.
But I don't know where I have that from. Probably the movie.
Yeah, the movie expands
yeah.
on the lore a little bit too.
But maybe someone who I don't know a lot about. Like, I feel like Zangief might be fun to read about.
That would actually be pretty cool.
Sagat, I'd be curious about.
They have one for Sagat.
Okay.
They have one for Sakura.
Sakura's origin's got to be what, like her childhood? Isn't she
I
like
don't know why they
13?
have it.
I'd read it, but like how much history is
They have one
there?
for Cammy, which
I'd read Cammy's.
that one's got to be sick. I can't believe you're not more excited about Cammy.
Yeah, I'd read
No,
yeah.
you hate it.
No, I almost
You
said
hate it.
Well, I was just thinking, like, I know she's like a military officer. So, yeah, I guess I'm curious. Like Akuma's got like this mystical aspect to him. So I'm like, all right, where'd he come from? What's he so pink and angry about? But yeah, I would absolutely read Cammy's.
Yep. These came out. Well, this one specifically came out in 2013.
Oh, okay.
So these are an older. It's an older series.
I do in general like the Udon Street Fighter stuff. I've read a good handful of it. I think I have like 13 issues of what I believe is just a core run of Street Fighter books, and I've really liked them. I'm trying to think of who else. Vega, I would read Vega's.
Oh, I wonder if they have Vega.
Yeah,
I don't see it here.
I mean, I would read all of them, but Vega specifically is like such an interesting and kind of like quiet character. It's like I know he's got like such a presence and a character about him, but like where does that guy come from?
Where's the mask come from? Where's the claws come from? What's his life?
What's his life, dude?
But yeah, highly recommend Keeper.
Love that.
Again, comics are just a great way to expand your lore. So look for
That's a good point. It's a really good point.
Yeah, because look for like any games that you enjoy, and you're like, man, I wish I had some extra story, or movies or TV. I keep finding that there's comics for everything.
Yeah, dude. You know what I found out? There's an Underworld graphic novel that I desperately want to get my hands on.
Does it?
I think it's just like the movie.
Still, I bet there's going to be cool things in it.
Yeah, there'll be some stuff, and there's also a. I've been thinking about this recently. There's like, I'm like cautious with stuff that I buy, or I'm more hesitant to buy new stuff now, just because I have a bunch of like in regards to comics, I have a ton of stuff sitting at home that I need to catch up on.
Yep.
And then like T-shirts is a thing recently that I was like, bro, I have so many shirts. I have as many like band shirts as I probably need, but I will definitely buy more because I'm always buying merch.
And take more for his birthday.
And yeah, absolutely. And then I found an Underworld Evolution shirt that came out around the time the movie came out. Like you can only find it on like eBay. It was like a promo shirt.
Right.
And I'm like, I definitely want that. Like that's super cool. I'm finding all this like peripheral movie merch that came out. There's a Nib High t-shirt from Billy Madison that's in like literally a single scene. I think the track and field scene near the end. And it's just a white t-shirt that says Nib High. And I'm like, I want that real bad.
You can
like,
make it.
I need that. You could make it.
You want the official.
Yeah, it's not really. I think someone else made it and put it on Redbubble or something.
You're like, I'll take it.
But it's a very good point that to expand the lore on anything, especially if you're like not into comics, you might not know that if there's a thing you wish there was more of, the odds of there being a comic book about that property.
I am being blown away. Every time I'll type in like a name for something, and it's like, here's 7 comics. With origins and expanding the story, and even sequels to things that never actually got sequels.
That's a big thing. I've brought it up so many times over the years on the show, but like Buffy having full seasons.
Yeah.
I think 2 or 3 seasons after the show was over. So Firefly was a big one for that too.
Yep.
I remember when I finished Firefly, I was so bummed that it was canceled. And Serenity was great. I really enjoyed the movie, but there's a bunch of books that basically give you more episodes. So some stuff can be hard to find, like the Serenity comics and I think, maybe they were called Serenity. I don't know, but the comics in that universe, they're not making anymore. You have to like find them online and stuff.
They do, thankfully, release a lot of trade paperbacks.
Yes. Yeah. Collections are a savior. That's awesome. All right, I'm going to head out.
Those are great. Those are what you need.
Those are what you need.
But I will shut my trap.
You're going to call it there?
Call it there. Dude. Sonic music.
Oh my God.
I didn't want to forget.
Dude, great episode, huh? There it is. You seemed a little sleepy when I got here. I didn't know how I was going to go.
Dude, I'm not sleepy.
Tim's sleepy, bro.
I am awake.
He is sleepy. You guys are the best. If you're listening, do us a huge favor and leave us a review. If you haven't, helps a lot, and we would just greatly appreciate that. 5 stars preferable. I still love the idea of us having only negative reviews in Word, but all 5 stars. But you can also just leave an overall good review. That's just funny to me in concept. Again, thank you to new subscribers. Welcome to the party. Patrons, we love you very much. What else? Oh yeah, again, you can follow us all over the place at the Keep Up Podcast. Patreon.com/the Keep Up. If you want some extra bonuses, you get 2 videos a month. You get that's at the $5 tier. You get 2 videos a month, and then at the $10, you get an extra podcast and everything before it.
From the hot cusp.
The hot cusp. Gosh, that's a funny idea. I want to do that. And if you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe, leave some comments. Let us know what you want us to watch. Next week, we're going to have 2 recommendations to talk about.
What?
You don't know what they are yet.
Okay.
I'm going to tell Tim afterwards. I just want to make sure he wants to do it, so I won't say it here. Tim, tell everyone where they can find you and all your stuff.
You guys can find me at Collection Revolution on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, on TikTok, on, the places where you belong. I also belong.
Yeah.
And we belong there together.
Wow.
So
very
check me out there.
insightful.
But Brett,
what?
Where can everyone find you and your weird toes?
That's not anywhere on the internet, but you can. I guess one picture.
There is one
in
picture.
the Keep Up history. That's silly.
I still have the picture.
Of course you do. You post it occasionally, like around my birthday. What was the question? Oh, yeah. The easiest thing is to go to Instagram at This Drink I Like It. There is a link tree there that has all my other stuff. I will have new music coming out soon, and I'm also at This Drink I Like It on TikTok. It's just like random comedy stuff. I just kind of use that to put random videos on. But yeah, on Instagram you can find me and all that good stuff.
I meant to ask you, did you really meet a guy who wanted you to go get an American Werewolf?
That was a real story.
That was a real story?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
A real story.
Did you get it for him?
No, he lives an hour away from me.
Who is he?
I don't know. A guy on the side. This is what happened. Here's a quick end of the Keep Up podcast story.
If you didn't watch, go watch Brett's TikTok about some guy you met.
Yeah, it's a real story. If I tell a story on there,
it's real.
It's real.
Okay.
It's real. I also really did. So these are the 2 recent stories that I shared on TikTok. One was I went to a store with Rachel and the kids a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And we're walking in, and the kid working behind the counter goes, "Hey, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask." And I go, "Yeah, man, let me know."
What is that response to?
I don't know. And it was so bad. Like when someone says, "What's up?" and you say "good,"
yeah,
you both know, we've done that, whatever. Yeah, man, let me know.
Let me know what?
I don't know. And I literally was like, thanks, I guess is what I meant. And he starts laughing at me like the worst flub ever.
What the heck?
The second story was I was working a side job the other day. Basically, all I have to do is be in an area. I just need to be available. So I parked somewhere. I went for a walk and said hi to a couple people who walked by me, whatever.
You're so friendly.
I try to break the East Coast New England stereotype of being terrified of other people.
That's my favorite stereotype.
Or angry at them all the time. You make eye contact and immediately cross the street.
I always just look angry when I'm walking, so no one talks to me.
It works. Mm-hmm. It works. Unless you're passing me. I'm going to be like, what's up, man?
Hey, guys.
Because what I've noticed is people always look. Yeah. If I'm looking at them waiting to because it's way more awkward to make eye contact and not say anything. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I'm walking and there's this one guy I see standing on the side of the road. So I'm walking and I'm like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And he puts his hand out immediately and goes, "I'm John." And I was like, "Oh, hey dude." So I shook his hand. I got nowhere to be. So I stand next to him and I'm like, "What's going on, man? What are you up to?" And he's like, "I'm just hanging out here and whatever." We talk for a little while. And at one point he just randomly starts telling me about movies he just started watching. Mm-hmm. And starts bringing up werewolf movies. And I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I've never actually seen that one. I love werewolves though. That sounds cool. I'll have to check that out." And I was like, "Actually, I kind of recently watched an American Werewolf in London." And he was like, "Oh, do you think you could get that movie for me?" And I was like, I don't live around here or anything. I'm an hour away from home." And he's like, "Well, maybe if you could get it, do you think you could get it to me?" And I was like, "I guess maybe, but I don't want to lie, dude. There's a place near me that sells pre-owned stuff. Maybe I could find you a copy of it, but I'm never down here." And he's like, "Well, just if you are." And I was like, yeah, if I found a copy and I was down here
and you were in the same spot
and you were here, I guess I would give it to you." And he's like, "I'm out here sometimes." And I'm like, "All right, dude." So he gave me his number and he's like, "'Cause I like honest people. So do you think you can really get it to me?" And I was like, I want to be honest with you, bro. I don't know that I'm going to be down here again. But if I see a copy of it, I'll grab it and I'll just keep it with me in case we run into each
Someday
other.
I'll keep it in my pocket.
So I might do that. If I find a copy, I'm
Brett,
just going to...
that is your quest to get into heaven. All you had to do is this at some point in your life, and you're guaranteed.
I mean...
It's a test.
Yeah. I was like, hey, you know, I don't know.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to, what was his name, John?
John.
Shout out to John.
Dude, I'm going to... Yeah.
Good company. I hope you get it to him someday.
Me too.
We should make a video.
Getting John a copy of this movie. John was cool, man. He was just kind of
finding him again. Well, you have his number. I guess you could plan something.
I legitimately think I could probably find him. Mm-hmm. I think because I know the area I was in. He was hanging out because he loves Dunkin' Donuts. I had just walked past one. He was just a couple storefronts down from Dunk's. I'm pretty sure we could find him. So
search for John.
He'll probably be like, "Who are you?" I'll be like, "I'm the guy, bro. I brought you this movie."
Here you go.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. Mm-hmm. Shout out John. John was a good dude.
Good guy.
That's my side quest now.
That's it.
Yeah.
So someday you'll need extra XP and you'll go for it. And we cracked 2 hours. Perfect.
Hey, we did it. All right. Tim's going to do what's called End Babble. Again, thank you guys endlessly for hanging out with us. It's been episode number 278, which is kind of crazy.
Gotta get ready for 300, baby.
Yeah, it's coming quick.
300 people, 300 guests.
300 guests. It's going to be wild.
Yep.
We've got the pizza potluck this weekend.
Is there going to be 300 guests there?
It kind of feels like it. I've been getting a lot of texts.
Dude, the pizza?
Dude, message me on Instagram if you guys want to come to the pizza potluck.
Yeah, this will be out the day before.
The day before. Yeah, you guys can come over, get some pizza. Tim, your theme for End Babble is going to be Sonic the Hedgehog in the Disney universe.
Okay.
All right. Love you guys. Have a good day or week or time or life or whatever. And that's all the stuff. Tim, take it away.
The song of Amy running through the Disney castles as the newest princess of Disney lore. She has to sing her own theme song because they don't have it for her yet. And she runs through the castle screaming at the top of her lungs. Trying to become her own princess. And Sonic the Hedgehog, the Blue Warrior, speeds through the castle, knocking over the likes of Mulan and Princess Peach and other princesses who are there at Princess Utopia Disneyland, trying to save Amy. And he finds her, and she fell in some peanut butter. Her whole kneecaps are covered, and her toes covered in peanut butter. And Sonic goes, "Yo, dog, I can't help you." And so he leaves. And she's still stuck in this peanut butter to this day. And so I'll leave you with this. Don't put peanut butter on the ground for people to step on. Put it in your mouth. Or on bread. Then in your mouth. Peanut butter shouldn't be wasted. Not like love.